There we go. Live.
Woohoo!
Falling for 30 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy, aligned with the like-minded, Tony Tone Deaf, rocking with you. I want to welcome one and all to the Clown World Review. What is up, everybody? It's good to see you. It's Tuesday again. We're going to be talking about some wrestling. It's always a blast. This week is 7 and 8 of the Monday Night War, October 16th, 1995, and October 23rd. What's up, Keely? Shall we see you in the chat? It's great to see you, brother. And it's great to see my brothers here on the panel tonight. Let's kick it over to the People's Champion, Etep Wokuian. How you doing today, brother?
I am great, man. It is I, it is he, it is me, P-double-D, Etep Wokuian from the place to be, the fucking unbeaten, untied team ratings tag team champion. I won this belt back in 2017 and I never officially lost it. All I had to do was turn him over to the promotion when I quit. So I'm technically been the tag team champ since 2017. It feels good to be a gangster, man. Thank you for having me on. It's fucking great to talk wrestling, especially WCW. WWF at this point, not so much. The only good thing about this week is we get to talk about Shawn Michaels getting his ass beat by 10 people, which was like one because Shawn Michaels is a bitch. But
which was this year's How I Lost My Smile.
Oh, God. Yeah, God. What?
Anything but drop the title.
Yeah, I don't want to drop the title. I just lost my smile. I quit. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely, man. As far as you never giving up that title belt, somewhere Alundra Blaze is just squirting all over the place.
This belt, I stole this from another promotion. They loaned it to me back in 2009. This belt's been held by the original Sheik. This belt's been held by a lot of great fucking Detroit wrestlers. That's where it came from, and it's fucking mine. So yeah, I own that. That's my piece of fucking history of Detroit wrestling that I stole fair and square.
Hell yeah!
I mean, it got lost in the move.
Oops, lost on a fishing trip. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, hit some waves and went down with the 9mm.
It was like Big Pussy from The Sopranos. He was swimming with the fishes.
Yes. Thanks, brother. Thank you
for having me,
again.
man. I'm happy to be here always, brother.
Definitely. And next up, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the super fan.
That's right. I am here. It is your pleasure for me to be here. I don't know. I might have to fight you. You know, I mean, I don't know. You're claiming to be the people's champ. I think we're going to have one last match. I'm saying.
Is that the Brahmable? Yeah, it is.
Yes,
That's awesome.
is.
That's awesome.
It is. It is the non-official. You know, as I've got it upside down because, you know, hey, why not? Because it's dark in here and I'm wearing sunglasses and it's all green. It's the WWF version, you know, the way it should be since we are talking WWF, yes. WCW.
Yep.
So yeah, got the hot rod shirt on. Had to got the NWO. Was going to be mean and switch mine up to the red, but I thought, nah, I'll go ahead and match for this first time. Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here with you fine gentlemen to talk some great wrestling. Compared to today's standards.
And, you know, I know it's your first time on the channel for the Monday Night War retrospective, but I just want to let you know, Adam, from the bottom of my heart, you can relax. Another monster's here now.
Right?
Thanks for coming on, man. Those are awesome title belts.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Hail Another Monster. It's great to see you, brother. Am I the only one who thinks this stream should be on Monday? You know, it should, but there's this great show on Mondays called Going In Raw that I'm usually checking out, you know. Might even be a part of. I don't know if I'm legally disclose or I have to legally disclose that. But
You're contractually obligated to say that.
Yeah.
It's in the fine print. It's in the fine print.
The tiny print, the teeny tiny print that we can't read. Yeah.
We wrote it with a small fucking pen. It only fits Cade's hand.
The publisher sent it back. Yeah, like if we weren't doing Going In Raw Monday, this would definitely be on Mondays. But the way I see it, you know, everybody talked about the wrestling shows on Tuesday when they were at school or work anyway. So
yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my excuse.
I wouldn't even say an excuse though, right? Because we're going back and watching them, right? Which we can do anytime. But the point is, if you would have watched it on Monday night, you really wouldn't have been talking about it till Tuesday. Like you said. Yeah. So it makes sense. And since Mr. Etep doesn't have anything going on and you're yourself for free, you got to stream when you can, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
man, those were...
Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, those were like the dark days of wrestling, too, because I didn't really have the internet till maybe 2000. So in like 1998, 1999, all this cool shit would happen. None of my friends wanted to talk about it. They're like, oh, you talk about wrestling too much. And this is like the peak of peaks in wrestling, you know? So I didn't have the IWC. I didn't have friends to talk to about it. So it's like you would just sit there and wait for Thursday Night Thunder and eventually SmackDown. And, you know, you didn't get much back then. That's, you know, there's no way I'd watch a Shotgun Saturday Night in this day and age, but back then, man, that's all you had, and they might announce a pay-per-view match or something on Shotgun. So yeah,
I used to watch. It was like later on in high school, like me and my buddies would get drunk and watch like WCW Saturday Night, and then you know you'd watch the Shotgun because we would do that while we pregame before we went out. You know,
yeah.
Like, because the guys I hung out with were like a lot, like most of my football buddies who were like also like the cats that I watched wrestling with. So yeah, we would, you know, go out. It's like, what are we going to do Saturday nights? We're going to go drink, you know, it's like, well, we're going to watch wrestling. Then we're going to fucking do it. Cause I'm driving and we ain't doing shit until I watch wrestling.
Oh yeah.
That was basically it.
Back then, like most people on the roster were over, but on Shotgun Saturday Night, you know, you'd get like, you know, pretty over mid-Carter and they'd be wrestling a jobber back then. So it was still, you know, pretty cool to tune in, just see what's going on. Back when I was ignorant to the business and I'm like, geez, do they just like tape an hour of one of their shows on Saturday or where does this come? Then I'd see a sign that I saw on Raw, like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Goldberg does swallow corn the long way.
Oh, he does.
Fuck.
You know he does.
Definitely. Sideways, baby.
So, yeah, again, we're doing October 16th and October 23rd of 1995, and Nitro is in the city of Albany, Georgia for October 16th. Isn't it nice that they're in a new city every week? Because I got to tell you, we're going to move on from Grand Rapids, but WWE has been in fucking Grand Rapids for like a year now. Like, holy shit, how many episodes of Raw do you tape there?
They built another Titan Tower there, actually.
Yeah. So, okay, Nitro this week, I believe it was a 2.2 rating, and then Raw got a 2.6. So I'm just pulling up the ratings from the last weeks we covered here. So, yeah, Nitro got a 2.2 this week. Now, the week before on October 9th, they had a 2.6 and Raw had a 2.6. So we lost some of the overall audience here. Somehow, I guess it's just name recognition at this point. Raw was able to maintain their 2.6 rating, which, I mean, what I've noticed from Raw in this era, you can have like a really good opening match, you know, a 6-man tag or a match for the tag titles, you know, but then the rest of the show kind of
just
goes downhill from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So But you know what? At this point in time, they're maintaining their audience. So I mean, all powered events, whatever he was doing.
He's booking an up and coming name against a jobber in the semi main event though. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
And
how did you win this fucking thing? Oh, the other side fucked up. That's how you won.
Yeah. So, Nitro on October 16th is coming at you from Albany, Georgia. Rating of 2.2, and our commentators again are Bischoff Heenan, Steve Mongo McMichael, and Pepe, who's my favorite, I think.
And don't forget ring announcer David Pinzer.
Yes, David Pinzer. I like that guy.
I did too.
So
I like Pinzer.
Yeah. Fucking, you know, I liked Tony, whatever his name is, who was WWF's ring announcer at the time. You know,
Tony Chimmel.
Tony Chimmel. I really liked him. I was sad when they like I like Lillian Garcia too. You know, and I think there's room for 2 ring announcers with 2 shows. You know, but I really liked Tony Chimmel's delivery.
He, if you watch that cage match between Kane. Isaac Yankem and Bret Hart, Tony Chimmel's on the ring crew. If you pay attention,
nice.
I noticed him putting together the ring.
That's awesome,
dude. I loved that cage. I miss the old school cage.
That's fucking Tony Chimmel.
It was nice to see the cage with Tony, dude, putting it together. You know,
old blue cage.
Yep.
He was probably an announcer for like house shows or something at that point in time. Maybe he was on like Superstars or something. I don't know.
Howard Finkel was was Finkel gone by that point? I can't remember where Fink was. If he was still with the company, but I think he was only doing like special.
Go to WCW ever?
Finkel? No.
Yeah, he stayed with WWF.
He was there his whole career, I think.
Yeah, maybe he just like retired for a bit and came back.
Yeah, because he just passed away a couple of years ago, and I know he was making spot appearances at WrestleManias and stuff like that, doing like those celebrity spots, you know.
He was definitely more loyal than Justin Roberts, who's at AEW.
Yep.
Now. So, speaking of the Shotgun Saturday Nights, the WWF Superstars, Nitro starts with a clip of WCW Pro over the weekend. See, last week we left off with Ric Flair saying he was going to get Brian Pillman, he was going to get Arn Anderson, he's going to wrestle him if it has to be all by himself next Monday on Nitro, and here we are. So over the weekend, Flair was looking for a tag partner, and Sting agreed to tag with him, but Sting drew a line in the sand, and it was like, if you screw me this time, Flair, I'm going to leave you out there all by yourself. You know, you can wrestle them, you can get your ass beat down all by yourself. So they shake hands, and the commentators let us know, you know, tonight it's going to be Sting and Flair versus Pillman and Anderson. Yep. And we go into our first match. WCW television champion Diamond Dallas Page was supposed to defend his title against Johnny B. Bad in the opening match, but DDP strikes Johnny B. Bad from behind after, you know, Page comes out first, and here comes Johnny B. Bad. Johnny B. Bad gets in the ring. Page starts beating his ass from behind, into the discuss of the Diamond Doll.
Hit him with the belt. Pearl Harbor, baby. Pearl Harbor job with the belt.
Yeah.
Like, but that's honestly, it's a clever way to put Page over, keep him looking strong as the champion. And Johnny B. Bad doesn't lose any momentum because he got fucking Pearl Harbor and he got hit in the head with a belt. So it's not like he got pinned clean during the second fucking week of a feud. So to me, it was, and it really, they sold the story of Diamond Doll kind of getting disgusted with DDP's antics. You know? So that where it worked on multi levels, man.
And it helps sell Halloween Havoc because it's announced after this that if Page is gonna, you know, pull that kind of shit, he's gonna face Johnny B. Bad at Halloween Havoc now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what put it all together, man. I mean, now as a fan, now take it, you know, you're kind of pissed because you want to see that match. And then now you're gonna want to get the pay-per-view because you really want to see that match.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, I got to get that pay-per-view. I got to see what happens. He Pearl Harbored him with the belt. It's like, come on, we want a match. So that's definitely.
Yeah.
It was disappointing though that it opened that way. I think.
Yeah, it was, but Paige was getting heat on him at the time. I really like Paige's story, and he's such a good guy, and he's gone on to help Jake the Snake and Scott Hall, and he's been such a positive force for the wrestling industry.
Yeah.
So
he's a nice dude too. I met him at Whorehound a couple years back. Real nice dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of real nice dudes, Chris Benoit makes his debut after this segment, and he defeats Eddie Guerrero in a pretty compelling match. It's great to see these guys in their younger years going at it. And then even Dean Malenko was there auditioning for the role of Cade, which was
hey, look here, it's Malenko, huh? Call him Cade.
No, but that was really cool to see Benoit and Guerrero, because I'm watching them wrestle, and Benoit's Nitro debut, and all I can think about is the end of WrestleMania 20 and them both holding their respective titles, and
Benoit,
like, bro, we fucking made it,
Dude, he looked like Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid.
He looked like he was working like I'm watching this, and like I said, I have like 2 paragraphs written about this match. It was really good, solid technical work between the two of them. You started out hot. They traded some chain. You had a few pin attempts, reversals. Eddie hit that nice high cross body to the outside on Benoit. Benoit and his mullet survived the attack, though. He had that Benoit hit the back body drop suplex over the rope outside of the ring. Dude, Benoit was cut up at that. He was only like 225 there, 220 probably. What else? The smashed Eddie into the ring post. He started working that arm over. That nice targeted offense that you saw. You don't. I correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't really see like a guy working over a body part much anymore. Like that's, to me, that's psychology. It's psychology.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so yeah, you're gonna sell to the crowd that this cat has been having this arm just beating. He was slamming it off the fucking ring post. Hitting him with some arm bars. Benoit, he kept working that, and like I said, he looked like Dynamite Kid. Guerrero took a ton of heat. Benoit just continually targeting that arm and shoulder.
Don't Dynamite Kid and Chris Benoit have some sort of history together? I know
through Stu Hart's, I believe.
Yeah, and Chris idolized him. Like, Chris was one of my favorite wrestlers. Like I'm 6 because we were the same height, not quite 6 foot. Just that swoosh underneath. But yeah, and I have to steal this from you there, Mr. Etep. But I have to agree, when you watch this match, and it's great, but they're both gone now, and you can just see them in a ladder match for the Stairway to Heaven match that you have mentioned many times, and I have as well, because we have the same kind of humor. But yeah, it was good to see them in their prime again, and it reminds you why you love the sport so much.
That arm drag that Guerrero did into that springboard DDT. It was like a brief hope spot, but man, that was fucking hot. Guerrero put that over. You had the chops going back and forth. That Irish whip, springboard head scissor that dropped Benoit for a second. Eddie hit the big suplex, goes to the top rope, caught the double knees in the frog splash. Benoit, that power bomb he fucking put on Guerrero.
Yes, fucking dropped him on his fucking head.
Yeah, you saw Guerrero's head.
Not sloppily, but I mean that fucking snapped.
He fucking power bomb. That wasn't just like gently putting him down. Benoit delivered the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
And then he hit that. He hit the reverse full Nelson suplex and got the pin at the end.
Yeah.
But I would say that power bomb was very much like what was it? Norton.
Oh, Scott Norton used to deliver it.
He
was one of my favorites.
Heavy power bombs. Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, brother, what were you talking about the cats for? What about the guinea pigs? When the guinea pigs put the moves on people, brother.
I smell guinea pigs.
That's right. It's Pigomania, and Pigomania is running wild, brother. We're coming in here, and we're going to do the flexing. We're going to eat the romaine, and we're going to eat the carrots, and we're going to run around the cage, brother. There ain't nobody better to talk wrestling than Pigomania. But when Pigomania gets bad, that's when it becomes the Pig World Order, brother.
That's fucking awesome.
I need to start putting in just not like weeks 7 and 8, but like weeks, like WHEK.
Holy shit, man.
Hell, Mad Mardigan, how are you doing, brother?
Dude,
Say
so
what
mad.
you will about Eric, but he had some brilliant ideas, like putting a spotlight on those cruiserweight wrestlers and how he brought in Hogan, Lex, and eventually the NWO. Bro, when you go back and watch the corresponding Raw to Nitro, Eric had some great ideas. There's electricity in the air on Nitro. When you turn it on Raw, and even now, decades later, I mean, it just feels so stale over on Vince's product.
It's formulaic, and we had that discussion. We talked about it. It's like Raw was so formulaic back then, and it's still the same way fucking 30 years later now. And it's funny, he mentioned Mads. What's up, Mads? He mentioned the cruiserweights. That was my next point on my notes. Was Bischoff plugged the WCW committee putting together a cruiserweight division, and that's why guys like Eddie and Benoit and Dean are flocking to WCW.
Yeah, but let's call it what it is, though. It was actually a stolen idea because he stole that shit from Heyman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Heyman already had all those guys working in the ECW.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Heyman doing that and putting a spotlight on all those guys like Eddie and Benoit, Dean Malenko, and Juventud Guerrero, Psychosis, like all of those guys, if it wasn't for him, WCW would have never looked into that. Now, don't get me wrong. Eric Bischoff actually took that idea and ran with it and made it a little bit bigger than what he did. But he still stole the idea. And that was the one problem I always had with him, with Bischoff. Bischoff is a great idea guy.
Yep.
He's got wonderful ideas. The problem is that's not what WCW did. They gave him the checkbook and said, do whatever you want. Yep. Idea guy, not a financial guy. And that was the same exact problem that Heyman had. Heyman was a great idea guy, but he was not good at financials.
Now, in Bischoff's defense, everything you said, there's definitely a point, but he also helped rekindle the relationship between New Japan and WCW, like in 94, 95, and they actually went over to North Korea, and the WCW guys were involved with NJPW in some match. It was some sort of event for peace, which obviously we all see how that worked out, but, number one, it was really cool because it's like the first time a lot of these North Koreans saw anything like this. They weren't used to entertainment, but I think he saw the Japanese style and was thinking, this could work in America. And then you go back home and here's this up and coming promotion in the ECW, and he sees these wrestlers here kind of working that same style or working the Mexico style,
working that strong style from Japan, because that's what it mostly is. You look at like FMW, Frontier Martial Arts, or martial arts wrestling, stuff like that. Them fuckers were like, you're getting potatoed when you get hit. You're gonna fucking take one.
At a point, WWF was floating ECW. It was like it was almost like their farm league.
Yep.
So Heyman knew his role in that. Like, and it sucks because they were just starting. They had their Spike TV contract, and they ended up losing that. But I mean, they were really becoming a household name when they went out of business.
ECW.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Like you said, the first time I ever found them was like 95 on a wild feed on my parents' satellite out of Florida at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. Here's, fucking, I can't remember who it was, but I'm just like enthralled with this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'd never seen it before. I was like, it's this dark. It reminded me of like Mid-South. Or like old NWA shows where you had that dark fucking arena and the only lights on in the building were around the fucking ring. That's kind of what ECW might seeing it in the ECW arena, now. But yeah, man, that shit was unlike anything else. And yeah, Bischoff got too comfortable with the boys, and he was one of the boys. So when the boys were like, oh, well, hey, guaranteed paychecks and I need a raise, and Kevin Nash is like, I want the fuck, and I love Kevin Nash, but I want the fucking book. And it's like, that was the worst fucking thing you ever did, was give Kevin Nash the book. He wasn't a booker.
He was in it for himself. And
Triple H did.
Another person I'd like to put blame on. Let me finish business. Yeah, I agree with you, and Mad Mardigan, I agree with you, and also the merger between Time Warner and AOL, and
That
the
killed
AOL
WCW.
exec coming in. None of these guys even work for the company anymore.
Brad Siegel.
Brad
Siegel's
Siegel,
the guy
what was he
that
there,
piece
a
of
year
shit.
or something?
Yeah, he was there a fucking year.
Yeah, he kicked WCW off the channel more than
Yep.
they could have turned things around eventually.
Yeah.
I believe that in my heart. You know, they've Jim Crockett Promotions to WCW. I mean, they've seen dark times and they've seen good times, and I really think they could have turned it around. And they were just starting to get that new generation in there.
Yep.
I really like Chuck Palumbo and Sean Stasiak and Vampiro and so many other great wrestlers. And you know, again, WWF doesn't always have the answers. We talk about how they handled Diamond Dallas Page, who will always be one of my favorites.
They fucking massacred his character.
Just put on WrestleMania 18, and he had a match with Christian on there, but I mean, he was relegated down to the European title, and that's after that awful storyline with The Undertaker and
his wife.
The stalker. Yeah.
It's not the first time that it took somebody with a lot of potential in the business to just ruin. I mean, look what they did with Bray Wyatt when they put him up against The Undertaker. There was great potential to push Bray Wyatt all the way to the stratosphere. They failed to capitalize on it.
His Fiend gimmick was like fucking and I barely even watch wrestling. I watch highlight videos on YouTube and watch people watch people talk about it, and it's like the way it's received, you can just tell it's actually a good gimmick. How
you doing, Vinny?
Hey, Vinny.
Hey guys,
what up?
I want to say the big scary mean words.
Tree humper.
Wait, Tom, you forgot midget tree humper in front of
Oh yeah, gnome.
No.
Did we have a Walton sighting tonight?
I thought we did, but it was a garden gnome tipped over.
Yeah. I thought I seen a garden gnome on the toilet outside, and I was scared that Walton was in the neighborhood. But I got a serious question here, brother. I see the hot dog super fan Adam Shawhan has got the PWO, brother, for life. How come you're not on board, People's Champ? And Tony, why ain't you part of the PWO, brother? We're growing quickly. We're the best thing in wrestling right now. You need to get on board, brother.
Because someone's got to fucking fight you.
If you want the title, you got to come get it.
We already got people in your house, Etep. You're gonna lose.
Send all the pigs, brother. Send all the pigs, brother.
You can't beat the Wiener Dog Clan and the Guinea Pig Collection Collective.
I got a bunch of I'm fighting wieners and pigs. This is terrible.
Nibble. That's from the ankles down, baby.
Right? See, I'm fucked.
Well, that's what we get for being on the internet, right?
I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. Getting attacked by wieners and pigs. It's like being an intersectional feminist. Fucking.
You know what? I honestly feel, man, Mardigan, that if they would have let, what was the company when Bischoff and his investors?
It's Fusient Media.
Yeah, Fusient Media. And they were trying to buy WCW, and
This right here, Tony, what you're going into, they were going to put him on hiatus for a couple months, and they were going to relaunch with a pay-per-view called The Big Bang, the pay-per-view that never was. And I have I can't remember, it's like the Real World of Wrestling magazine from like 99. No, I'm sorry, it's 01. And there's an ad in the back of that magazine for that fucking pay-per-view. There's a full page ad, The Big Bang, WCW, with a new logo and all that. You know, it's like everything started with a bang. I was like, I remember seeing that as a kid because like WCW, no, I was a kid, I was 21, and WCW being bought. And I remember watching that last Nitro and just sitting there and almost crying because I love that shit so much. I'm just like, wrestling's dead. I said it then. I said it fucking 20 years ago, and I wish there was an internet or something. But
there was bad business.
Dead.
There was bad business ethics going on because they sold Vince the company for like rumored $2 million. Yep. Like Chris Jericho said in the past, I would have bought it if I would have known about it. Fucking, they blocked Eric Bischoff from buying it, and I'm sure
his group had more money than $2 million set aside to buy the fucking thing in the first place.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. Vince was so powerful; he could say pretty much anything to those entities that were going to back Bischoff at the time. He said, "Look, I'm going to bury you. I have control of most of the networks, and you know, I'm going to make sure you're not on any station, and you'll be dead before you even get started." And that's what he did. he scared everybody right out of back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they
Well,
had a
remember,
lot of
Vince was
drill.
on TNT there for a minute before he ended up with USA when Ted got WCW going.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was a whole to do, them having to switch that around.
That
Yep.
was kind of sad too, because whether Ted Turner was a great wrestling promoter or not, he always wanted it on his stations. He was a fan of professional wrestling,
He,
even if he married a commie.
And even if he is a fucking globalist,
hey, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Hang on.
which
I
he is.
heard that he's here. I heard that he's here. I'm Ted Turner. How you doing, everybody? Thank you for having me. I'm Ted Turner. Yes, I was married to Jane Fonda, and I colorized the moon. And I also own Casablanca.
He saw one of those workout videos and was like, "Introduce me to her."
I want to see that lady in the with the headband and the ankle warmers. Where's she at? Bring her to me right now.
With
Did
nothing
you
else
ever-
on.
I'm
Did
Ted
you ever
Turner.
see when Will Forte used to do him on Conan?
No.
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. He come out like on a stuffed bison, and he called the bison Teddy. Come on, Teddy, and he'd slap it.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta look it up. You'll laugh your ass
I'll
off.
have to watch that.
That's hilarious.
I also
So-
own CNN.
We were just talking about Chris Benoit making his Nitro debut and defeating Eddie Guerrero, and then we go into, and speaking of debuts, it was a long time ago. I guess this is going to be the Giants' first match versus Hulk Hogan at the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, because he had just popped out of the
23 years
I-
old.
out of the crowd in that one, and he jacked Hogan. You talking about the Mean Gene segment?
Yeah.
Because Mean Gene plugged the hotline, and the fact that a WWF official is history, a top WWF star getting beat up in the parking lot by a fan, which of course he's referring to that bitch ass fuck Shawn Michaels. Then you get Giant and Taskmaster making their way to the ring. Bischoff really sells how bad these two are. Gene, of course, plugged the monster truck match on the roof at Cobo Hall in 2 weeks at Halloween Havoc, and the WCW World Title match with Giant facing off against Hogan. Sullivan put over the fact that Hogan was dressed in black and that he has a dark side, and this was great NWO foreshadowing.
Yep.
The commentators, and to their credit, the commentators really did a good job over the course of the next couple weeks leading up to Halloween Havoc, really putting over this Hogan having a dark side, when we all knew, back then it wasn't going to last well, or so we thought.
Still, see, this is a part of wrestling. He had the lightning pants on and everything. Hogan was all decked out in black. This was definitely a precursor to Hollywood. I don't care if he said it was a last-minute decision or not. They were testing the waters.
Yep. And they were he got a good response to it.
Yeah.
And it was,
Hail Johnny Cage.
hey, what's up, brother? Hail Johnny Cage. No, the thing was, it was funny because you look at Giant during this promo with Okerlund and Sullivan, and you see how fucking huge he actually is compared to those two. Like, it was funny. And Giant put the claw on Gene. He's kind of fucking around with him. So this is leading up to the Man vs. Man and Machine vs. Machine, Sunday, October 29th in Detroit at the Joe Louis Arena. Call your cable company.
That is a cool way to come into the wrestling business
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Fucking monster truck match. Fucking.
And they played up the fact that he was Andre's son back then. Like, that was like part of that
Yeah, that
art.
was pretty funny.
I wish my dad was here to help me in Hulkamania.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah.
You know that Hogan found him, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Hogan probably... He was a bouncer at a nightclub or some shit.
No,
wasn't
he
or a
was
strip club.
Selling cars, wasn't he?
He was at a car dealership, and they had a charity basketball game, and he was playing, and they invited him on, and Hogan was like, as soon as he saw him, he saw dollar signs.
Dude, that guy was in fucking great shape. Like,
Oh yeah,
Paul White... Dude, but he was like, I remember him throwing drop kicks back then. Like, he was, for a
He
big
was a
man,
quick learner.
he was athletic as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
normally, and having been like, I was a basketball fan most of my life, and I've watched a lot of big ass, gumpy, white fucking centers that couldn't, like, what's that dude they used to call Big Country, Bryant Reeves, that couldn't fucking move, and you see a dude like Shaq who's like 100 pounds heavier than him, and this motherfucker moves like a big ass, like a big ass cat. And Big Show was a cat. He was a big cat back then. That motherfucker was agile. And that's one thing I always loved about him and his early work, is once he got comfortable and found himself in the ring, God, he could work. And WWF like ruined him. They didn't like Vince, and that's the thing, is like Vince jacks off to guys like that. He does. Like Vince fucking blows it. Like, oh my God, he's 7 foot, you know, and 70-inch chest.
He's all about like, he's not about substance. He's all about appearance.
Yep.
I got a good Vince joke
The great
later, but if
Khali.
I'm right, Etep, didn't they not let him start? They made him lose weight first before they'd even let him start, didn't they?
WCW?
No, Vince.
He put him on a few different, like I know Big
Yeah.
Show got sent to Fat Camp maybe
Yeah,
a couple years after his debut in WWF.
Because he had that surgery or whatever, and then he gained all the weight and all that stuff, and he kind of slowed down. But yeah, I could have swore there was like a documentary where he was like, "Yeah, I had to literally. I hear I'm wrestling Hogan, and now I'm all the way back down here to learn."
They punished him. He was, but that was the thing. Like, it didn't matter how big he was, how athletic he was, how over he was. He started in WCW.
Yeah.
He wasn't a Vince McMahon creation. So then, by and large, fuck him. Is Vince's attitude.
It was weird calling him the Big Show at first.
I hated
calling
it.
him the Giant
He
for
was-
so long.
He was always the fucking giant to me. I don't care. He was always the giant.
When he put all that weight on, I remember my cousin just go, "Oh, here comes the big slow again."
It's a big slow.
Well, it's the big slow.
I saw him live.
Slow tonight.
But that's the thing that sucks about the, like, because he had the pituitary gland that, it did what it did.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that sucks. Everyone who gets that operation, they end up going sideways, like, because it's still like the body still wants to grow.
Yeah.
So, and those guys, they don't normally make it to an older age.
Yeah, usually they start checking out in between 40 to 50.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, for what he's been doing and how he's been keeping in shape, he got into better shape now than he's ever been. The guy's got a 6-pack and he's a giant.
Yeah. He got in shape post wrestling.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
Well, Etep, I thought that song was "It's a Big Slow." He's getting fatter every night. I thought that.
I like it.
But I think he's gonna start wrestling over on the
AEW.
Yeah, AEW.
Well, if he's smart, he'll make it more like how Andre was. He was an attraction. If he's smart, that's what he'll do. Selective dates.
I think so.
Selective times.
Tony Khan needs to prove that he's got the chops to do this, and so far he has. But you take Paul White and you make that motherfucker. He's the big bad lion. He's the old lion right now. And you see these young lions. I don't care who they are. I don't care who it is. You fucking send them to him, and he's just like, bow, choke slam, just massacres them, just fucking monster choke slams. He did wrestle
Johnny
in
Cage.
AEW.
Who did he wrestle? He wrestled at All Out.
Yeah. I'm
And it was
forgetting the name of the guy. It's one of those full of themselves narcissist guys. He's not even a big guy.
Yeah.
He's the one that he pronounces his name differently than anybody else would. And I'm failing to remember his name because he just seems so inconsequential of a person to me.
Is it MJF?
Maybe. What's his
Maxwell Friedman or whatever?
Marshall is the way he says it. Yeah. Instead of Marshall. Yeah, that's it.
Marshall.
Yeah. I seen that one with Angelous, and Paul White looked pretty good for the limited time that they had him out there, which was smart. It was a very short match.
Keep it short, dude. He's he's in his 40s. Let him be a monster. Remember 911 in ECW? Remember what Sid? Remember Sid when Sid come out with Jeff Jones? Sid would come out, hit the fucking choke slam, hit the power bomb. It was over. That was it. You're done.
Yeah.
Just let him do that. Let him be
awesome.
a monster.
It'll be interesting to see if Sid ends up in AEW because he's in pretty good shape. Last bit of stuff I saw, and I got to see the Giant in WCW against Mr. Perfect. And I got to tell you, when you actually, everybody's been to a wrestling show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know that a certain person was a wrestler, so you don't count. But the rest of the
Ted Turner.
But yeah, man. I mean, like I saw him. I was like 3 rows from front row, dude. And when it's like when you and me were standing, like I'm not used to being the smaller guy, and and then you, as you know, you're not the biggest guy when you're standing next to Jeff. But then you go against like Paul, dude. I mean, you just feel you feel so tiny, you know. And it was really good to see it live because it was a house show that wasn't on TV or anything. Like I got to see a whole lot of people. I've got pictures and stuff. But I've only ever been to one WCW event, and it was in Michigan. I can't remember what part. You know, mid 90s. But oh, dude. To see some of these guys that literally, you know, it's different when it's on TV, but when you see them and you're right there, you know, it was the same with Meeting the Godfather. I've seen him on TV. I've seen him at the Joyce Center, Notre Dame, when back in the day when they used to have wrestling there. But to stand there and have a conversation with the guy and hear stories, and man, it just like a wrestling fanatic that I am and loved it as much as I did and wished I could do what you did, Pete, but you know, due to diabetes at 9, wasn't going to happen. The closest match I'm going to have is with you, you, me, and Tony. That's going to be it.
I wouldn't wish what I did to my body in only 2 years of being in the ring on anybody.
Hey, man, but I'm going to go with the old school, like we were talking about with Benoit, where you're working on the arm. You got the arm bar. You got the shoulder, the bottom will stretch, you know, that kind of stuff more than slamming them in the ground, you know.
Is that what you called his wife, the arm?
Yeah. I was going to say, Etep, I knew this one guy. He wanted me to go try out with him, and this is before I really messed myself up really bad because, you know, I had a decent sized build. So he was going to go try out for CZW at the time. And I was like, dude, I was like, I don't know about all that shit. Like,
I'm not down
they were busting, they were busting fluorescent tubes over each other and everything. Yeah, that was insane.
I swear to God, CZW was like ECW's retarded stepson. It was, man. Like them guys were and I don't and I used to love hardcore and ECW, even though when I started working, it's like I'll never work that style of match. Fuck that.
Yeah. First of all, matches are retarded.
I'm not getting hepatitis. Fuck that. I dealt with enough blood as a fucking manager and announcer. It disgusted me. Yeah, that shit, dude. Tommy, I've seen that CZW shit because they run at the ECW arena. You know, that was their claim to fame. They wanted to run where Paul E ran, and it's like those guys were just like gore for the sake of gore.
Yeah.
It was there. That was like wrestling torture porn. It was. Do you remember was it XPW? Rob Black, the porn guy, ran that company, XPW.
I remember hearing about XPW. I never saw it.
XPW was basically a precursor
Extreme
for Combat
Pro
Zone.
Wrestling or something.
Yeah. Rob Black was a porn producer that got into wrestling.
Wasn't Christopher Daniels over there at one point?
In XPW,
yeah.
I think he might have been there at the very beginning. Yeah. Because he was in WCW at that point too. He was just working as it was just Christopher Daniels, I think in WCW he was like a jobber.
Because I think when he was in XPW, he didn't go by Christopher Daniels. He just went by the Fallen Angel.
That's right, because he had that gimmick later in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oops.
You forget about how long he's actually been around. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry, man.
Oh no. Well, number one, I was gonna say when it comes to wrestling, like, I don't mind like a good ladder match or a hardcore match every now and then.
They're telling a story
fight, but yeah, I don't need gore in my wrestling, I guess. And when people are like actually getting sliced open with glass and
staple gun,
staple guns and that shit.
Dude, have you, if any of you guys, I have a documentary. It's called Forever Hardcore. It's about ECW, and I got the bloodiest ECW fucking matches. If you've never seen the Taipei Death Match between Axel and Ian Rotten, it is fucking disgusting. But I recommend you watch it once. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times. It is. I give those guys credit, but my God, that shit was just ridiculous.
I saw the dark side of the ring there, whatever the fuck that show's called, when they did one on that guy Nick Gage.
Yeah, I just watched that yesterday.
I had that queasy feeling in my balls throughout the entire episode.
Dude looks like he should be in prison, man. Like, holy shit.
Oh, he'll probably go back there.
Yeah, it's like, and I was talking to Etep about it yesterday. Like, number one, that's a success that you connected with the fans, and that's great that you have that ability. But at the end of the day, when you're broke, you're homeless, you barely have enough money to get by, you're fighting against heroin every single day, you've got a felony record, there's no way you're getting a good job once you can't wrestle anymore and your body's banged up. I mean, where's the success? Because I'm sorry, but these fans will forget about you. They'll remember every now and then, oh yeah, I love Nick Gage. And I mean, but where's really the success? You know, that's got to be a hard life, and I feel like he could have done so much more had he not, had he not went that route.
Shoot that stupid piece of shit Sabu a fucking DM and ask him that question.
Oh, what about New Jack? There's another piece of trash.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I like I said, I never met New Jack. Actually, at one point we were talking to him in like 07, 08. We were gonna book him. He was coming in and doing appearances for like $1,500, and we're like,
Jesus,
who the fuck are we gonna get to work him? Like, because when he comes in, you don't tell New Jack what kind of match he's gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
You book New Jack, you get like Jerome was cool, like he was cool as fuck. But when it came to his gimmick, like to the New Jack gimmick, it's like he would, he'd put somebody over if it made sense, but it had to you weren't going to bring him in for a one-off and use one of your local dudes to go over on him.
No.
Ask Mass Transit about that.
Yep, he tried to kill that son bitch.
Well, that fucking kid told him, I want to get color. It's like, you no. But no, man, he was one of those guys that like could never transition to like WCW or WWF. And Bischoff did a horrible job with like Sandman. I remember they called him Hack, Hardcore Hack.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny getting back to the Nitro, Tony. This was another Disco Inferno appearance, which I never get tired of, the disco appearance.
So I guess it's not because the first week they did this, his music played, he came out on the ramp, and Eric Bischoff is like, he's not supposed to be out yet. And then Eddie Guerrero comes out like, what the fuck are you doing? And pushes him aside and has a match with Dean Malenko. Well, now this is the third week Disco's done this, so it's some angle they're playing here, which it's Disco Inferno, so I don't think it's going to end with any world titles, but
hey, he got a TV title run.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
He did. Oh, fuck yeah, Glenn did, man. He deserved that. He was with them. He was with them from 95 all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Dude was loyal. He's a little too close with that fucking piece of shit Russo, which I love because I've been listening to I used to listen to him a lot, and I started listening to him again. It was Jimmy Cornette. Last week, Johnny Cage, that was a compliment. Johnny Cage said I went Cornette for a minute when I was talking about Kofi Kingston and Aunt Jemima Syrup. But no, Corny refers to Vince Russo as shit stain. And he won't say his name. He just calls him shit stain.
They'll fight. Cornette will fight him if they're in the room together.
If they ever fucking see each other, Cornette's throwing hands on him. And Jimmy lost a lot of weight, so Russo's always been a pussy. So I mean,
well, you know what? Anytime the Disco Inferno comes out, you got to support it. Because he's a Guinea too, so I have to support one of my own. Even if it's from a different branch. Same thing with Vinny here. He has no choice. He has to support it. So let's hear more about Disco. Let's just make the rest of this stream about Disco and WCW.
Oh
no! Nash said I'm in. Nash said I'm in. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so Disco comes out like he's scheduled for a match, and then here comes Ming, who pushes him out of the way. And then here's Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's my guy, and I love Hacksaw. He lost decisively. Ming kicked his ass and put him in the Tongan death grip.
That was a fucking hoss fight.
Yeah.
That was a hoss fight. Those were two big. Ming was agile for a big dude, though. Like, Ming could move. That's what I always liked about him. But yeah, this was just a hoss fight. They were just throwing bombs at each other, and it was power moves. And yeah, Ming picked up a pretty, like you said, a pretty decisive W. I liked when he broke out of the Dungeon of Doom. Obviously, I remember the King Haku run, but yeah, I liked Ming and Barbarian as the faces of fear. That tag team was money when they put them together. That Samoa. Well, he used the Samoan Spike, which is funny because what's his name?
Umaga.
Or as William Regal said, that you manga. Or his manager, Armando Alejandro Estrada, Umanga. Yeah, he come out with his cigar, Umaga, the Samoan bulldozer. Yeah, he was the Samoan family, dude. There's like so many of them now that, and we're not even talking about the ones that were getting the ones that are getting DUIs now. We're like just swimming around in a nutsack back in this.
Oh, was Umaga part of the Headhunters?
I gotta look at the Headhunters.
I got it.
But
no, for some reason, I always think that he was part of the Headhunters. I mean, I could be mistaken. I just don't remember.
They're all family, like the
Yeah.
AOA family or whatever.
Yep.
They're fucking huge in WWF specifically, but in professional wrestling.
Victor Santiago. Let's see. We had that was their build from the Dominican. You had Headhunter A, Mofat, and Mahim. They were trained by Johnny Rods. These are the Santiago brothers. So no.
Okay. All right.
The Samoan, I remember, was it the Samoan Gangster Party in ECW? That was Sammy, Sammy and fuck. Hang on. It was basically Rosie and Jamal.
Yeah.
It was Rosie and Jamal, but they were Sammy Silk and you had Samu is Sammy Silk and Big Matty Smalls. So it was Samu and Fatu, which were Rosie and Jamal later on.
Yeah. So
Sorry, that was a side tangent.
No, it's all good. So Ming defeats Hacksaw, and then Hogan comes out, foreshadowing Hollywood again. He's all in black. He's got the lightning pants, and he says there's an evil in Hogan, and the Giant is going to swallow it at Halloween Havoc. And the Giant hasn't felt the power of Hulkamania yet. It's powerful enough to make promoters drop to their knees and cry because Hulkamania is more powerful than the entire promotion. So another shot there at Vince McMahon, which at the time was kind of true. And then Jimmy Hart, he's worried for Hulk, but yeah, Hulk basically tells Jimmy Hart to go fuck himself because he doesn't know the power of Hulkamania either.
That part of the promo, Hogan's like, and Jimmy's like, well, Hulkster. And Hogan's like, yeah, brother. Whoa. And he just like cuts him off. I was like, bitch, you're so rude. Like,
oh, shit.
He's going to talk. You just so
Etep,
rude. Yeah.
I hate to circle back to that, but when he first came into WWF, he was assigned to Heartland Wrestling Association, adopting the tag team named the Island Boys.
Who's that?
Umaga, who was his real name is Fatu.
Yeah.
And then when he came back to WWE, he was renamed Jamal.
Okay, so he was one of the Samoan Gangster Party.
Yeah. That was the one I was thinking, not the Headhunters, but it was that one.
The Samoan Gangster Party, dude. The fucking speaking of New Jack earlier, New Jack and Mustafa fucked them up, and it was funny. Cornette was talking about the other day. He's like, I still owe Mustafa $100. I still got his fucking payday for the TV tape, and he no-showed me on. When he fucking left and went to fucking ECW, he goes, he fucking left, and he didn't ever come and got his pay. Then he tried to say I owed him money. I got your money still. From Smoky Mountain.
That's awesome. Where are you watching Cornette's?
On YouTube.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. He's got a YouTube. It's all his podcasts are on YouTube. That's where I
love Jim Cornette. Oh, dude. He's such a personality.
Hell yeah.
Ever since he fell off that scaffold.
Yeah.
At Starrcade 86 and blew his knees out with the fucking Midnight Express.
Oh,
dude.
God, that was ugly.
Yeah. That was probably one of the best pay-per-views I've ever fucking seen.
He just passed right the hell out, too.
Yeah. The pain, dude. He just blew both his knees. The night of the fucking Skywalkers. That was the most ill-advised match until Vic Grimes and fucking New Jack had that one where New Jack almost died the first time. Then he tried.
Yeah, that was Vic Grimes' fault.
Yeah, that was Vic. Yeah, because he was gonna throw him, and Grimes was like, I don't want to go, and New Jack, you're fucking going.
Yeah.
He just chucked his ass off. Like, fuck you, dude.
The second time he threw him and he did an Owen Hart and he bounced back up. And New Jack's like, I don't know how that didn't fucking kill him because I was trying to kill him. Because it crushed the first time because he fell on New Jack and that's what crushed his skull and fucked his eye up and he couldn't see out of his eye and he's like, the shit just fucking waters all the time. The best do you remember those old the You Shoot videos? It was New Jack and Iron Sheik and I can't remember who the third one was that was with him. But there was 3 of them in a fucking hotel room doing a shoot video. It was so fucking funny. Yeah, New Jack and Iron Sheik together. That shit was funny.
Coke.
But yeah, that promo with Hogan was funny.
Yeah,
it was fucking funny.
And it's interesting to see them because they never talk about that in the history now. How they really were foreshadowing Hollywood. Probably about 9 months before he debuted, maybe closer to a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main event is Flair and Sting, as they teased in the beginning of the show. Flair and Sting, and they defeat Pillman and Anderson when the heels voluntarily are counted out after getting their asses kicked around the ring a little bit by Flair and Sting. And Sting reaffirms that he's got Flair's back, and they will destroy Anderson and Pillman at the pay-per-view, and Nitro for October 16th goes off the air. So, a solid episode. In my opinion, far more solid than Raw, but they did lose that week by 0.4 rating points, with a 2.2, Raw garnering a 2.6.
Which is fucked.
Yeah.
If you look at the Raw card that we're about, are we going to go through the Raw now?
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Raw. Again, in Grand Rapids, since we started doing this show, they've been in Grand Rapids.
Yep.
So, Raw in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the Monday before the next In Your House, and the commentators are McMahon and Lawler, and the show starts with a promo package hyping up a steel cage match tonight between Bret the Hitman Hart and Isaac Yankem, and if Jerry Lawler interferes, then he has to go into some weird BDSM cage.
And Lawler had a great fucking mullet at this point.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how luxurious that thing is hanging out of the back of his fucking crown?
He had to pull those 16-year-old divas,
That one girl he was fucking with was 14.
What a sick fuck.
Yeah.
Well, he's from the South. Some states, old enough to pee, old enough to breathe.
He did like Elvis or Jerry Lee Lewis, and that motherfucker married his 13-year-old cousin. So I mean,
he's like, there's grass on the pitch.
It was a different time.
Yeah. I love when people say it was a different time. Let me stop you right there.
Well, it was 1986. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right? Yeah, it's not like it was the 1950s, Jerry. God, don't be a fucking Jerry.
Speaking of fucking clowns,
oh god,
Adam Shawhan and I were talking about this earlier. The perfect match to start off Raw: Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Doink the Clown.
Ugh.
So you've got 2 clowns battling each other. Triple H comes out the victor with the pedigree.
Yeah,
and I mean he was in full blue blood gimmick at this time.
Yep.
Yeah,
spraying the perfume.
Doing the curtsy and shit. Yeah. So it's 1990. Like Kurt Cobain, has he shot himself yet, or is he like 6 months away from it? And we've got Doink the fucking Clown on WWF TV. So
we got,
she did warn him she didn't want to hear any lip from him anymore.
This match might have been why Kurt shot himself.
I think, dude. Well, look at Nitro opened up with Diamond Dallas Page and Johnny B. Bad. Raw opens up with fucking Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Doink the fucking Clown.
Yeah, Nitro. You've got DDP versus Johnny B. Bad, and then you've got Chris Benoit's debut versus Eddie Guerrero, and we've got Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
So,
now I know you hate WWF, but I gotta say this one, and for the most part, you're right. But this one was one of the stronger Raws that they had from the previous weeks that we have all watched. I feel
it was a go-home show too.
This was
going into the In Your House,
which is fucked up. This is what they go into a pay-per-view with and consider it a success.
And
Like,
the numbers back it, though. That's the weird part.
I know.
By no
I know.
means am I saying this is perfect. I'm just saying,
I know.
compared to the crap that we have watched, which
Yeah.
I will still rewatch over the crap that's on today, minus the AEW. I haven't watched Tony. As you know, I don't have it yet. I'm working on it. But I did feel this was one of the better ones. You know, these 2 weeks were a little bit better than what we put up with for the past 6.
Yeah.
It was, but we'll get to the October 23rd's main event in due time. So we've got Triple H and Doink the Clown, and then Gorilla Monsoon announces that The Undertaker's injured, so Yokozuna is going to be taking his place at the In Your House against King Mabel. So we've got a 600-pounder going up against a 500-pounder at In Your House this weekend. So that sounds slow.
What is
Dude,
this?
I've seen them live, though. I've seen both them live. Oh, my goodness. Again, when you see them live, and I mean, yeah, they're big guys, but back then they still could kind of move.
What is this? Who's gonna have heart failure first? Like,
Well, who could eat the most
Davey
donuts
Boy
and then go
Smith.
out and perform?
Macho Man.
Oh no! Where's the fucking tree, brother?
At least he went out badass. Like Yokozuna saw a spider and had a heart attack. Fucking Mach started having a heart attack and said to his wife, "Bitch, hold your tits. We're going into the tree."
Yep.
I'm
That's
gonna take
awesome.
this Jeep Wrangler. I'm a crashing in the tree because I just bumped the rail and my
Like,
fucking heart
if
tapped
you
out,
would've-
brother.
If you would have told me back in the 80s, WrestleMania 5, that Macho Man was going to die having a heart attack and driving into a tree, it's just, that makes sense.
It's a macho way to go, bro.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. So, yeah.
Elizabeth
is the big one.
Damn you, Lex Luger. I'll fucking see you in hell, freak show. You
Hey,
ruined
hey.
Miss Elizabeth. Oh, yeah.
That's right. Lex did nothing wrong. Mind you, he's in a wheelchair now. So
As Tony and I said, Lex Luger has a stupid face and a stupid head.
Yeah,
Lex
Elizabeth
did
should have
plenty
gone
wrong.
with Fauci.
He has a stupid face. He always did.
If Elizabeth got with Fauci, we could still watch her in the press conferences today. She'd be standing there like when she did the NWO black and white, have her hot little fucking dress on.
Yep.
Because I guarantee she was going to age like Elizabeth Shue. She'd still be hot right now.
oh, like a fine wine, baby.
Oh.
Fine wine.
Mhm.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of wine are you drinking tonight there, Etep?
Cabernet, and I'm gonna need to refill my glass here pretty soon. Cabernet Sauvignon.
Well, Ra's not on commercial, so it's the perfect time to go fill your glass.
Mhm.
Next up is the WWF Tag Team Championship. Yeah. So
Fuck this shit. Like I said, I fucking know Jamie Dundee, JC Ice personally, and he's a fucking idiot. But I saw them come out PG-13. I was just like,
and aren't they the USWA champion? PG?
that's his
So
dad's company, Bill Dundee.
it's the WWF They don't have their titles with them, but this match is the WWF Tag Champions versus the USWA Tag Champions. And
Mhm.
Brokeback Mountain beats PG-13 to retain the titles.
It looked like me fighting my fucking 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Those guys
Yeah.
were so fucking. It was like
I don't remember them at all.
Fucking Jamie Dundee and fucking JC Ice, Wolfie D. We're gonna fucking come out here. We're gonna fight Bart Billy Gunn. Fuck them hillbillies. I'll fucking
Think
show them how we do it.
Think about this. We're like, what, a year and a half from Dwayne Johnson making his wrestling debut
Yes.
as just a rookie. And you think where him and Billy Gunn go later down the line, he fucking destroys Billy Gunn on the mic. Fucking ends his career with a couple lines. So I've never been a big Billy Gunn fan. And I mean, this is kind of why, you see him years before he was meant to be a mid-carder, and they tried to push him as a main eventer, and it wasn't going to work ever.
because he had an intercontinental title run.
And that's where you should stay.
Yep, that's it. He had the look of a main eventer, but he couldn't.
Not the acumen.
No, not the acumen, not the psychology. His in-ring work was serviceable. It was solid. He was dependable. But he never really set the world on fire. Him and Road Dogg complemented each other so well. That was why that tag team got over like they did. And I'll admit, man, I was a WCW fan, but I like the Outlaws because I like Brad Armstrong.
I think this is the. Okay, I see. I was reading this promo. Okay, I see. It was at a house show. So yeah, basically the Smoking Guns defeat PG-13, and then we go into a clip with Doc Hendricks interviewing Cornette, the British Bulldog, and Bulldog pinned WWF champion Diesel in a 6-man tag over the weekend when Yokozuna came out and dropped a leg on Diesel. So Bulldog's bragging about it. Doc Hendrick brings up, 600-pounder came out there and dropped a leg, and it pisses fucking Bulldog off, and he dies of a heart valve issue. But not before he promises to defeat Diesel this Sunday in your house. So Dean Douglas will face HBK for the IC title in your house, but tonight he has a match. I didn't even catch this jobber's name. I was listening for it. I don't even think Vince said it, which, he'd be screaming at JR for not saying the wrestler's name, but...
Oh, Joe Dorgan.
Joe Dorgan.
With Dean Douglas?
Yeah. And, this is one of those points in time where they have the wrestlers call in over the phone, which, they're just right in the back. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But HBK calls and says he was attacked this weekend by 10 thugs who stole his stupid smile.
They took his smile, Tony.
Yeah.
That's not all they took.
Is that when he got
into
the fight and they beat the shit out of him at the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said they were like, it was 10. It was 10 Marines. It was one guy.
One dude.
It was one, because like that was funny when Vince was, because we're talking about the Montreal screw job. He had Jerry Briscoe the night before. This is Cornette telling this, because the whole fucking story of the Montreal screw job, the finish, Cornette came up with it on a fucking bet. Vince bet him he couldn't come up with something, and Cornette fucking pitched him how it was going to go down, and Vince actually did it. But God damn it, I totally lost my train of thought now.
It's about Shawn Michaels getting beat up by the Marine.
Yeah, and fucking Cornette was like, that fucking bitch. He said it was 10 fucking people. It was one fucking person that whooped his ass.
Yeah.
He fucking loved that's Cornette. What it was. He was talking because he's like, yeah, he's trying to tell him. So McMahon, Vince has Jerry Briscoe take Shawn. He goes, go show Shawn how to defend himself in case he has to actually fight Brett. And Cornette's like, the fuck?
Vince should have been training himself.
He's like, is Jerry Briscoe going to turn fucking Shawn Michaels into Carl Gotch in 24 hours? I don't fucking think so.
Jared Briscoe.
Fucking Carl Gotch reference.
I heard Vince got knocked the fuck out. Like, we all know he got punched. I mean, I heard he fucking dropped when Brett punched him.
I read Brett's book. I got the whole fucking details in there. Oh my God. He fucking lifted him off the floor. That's why he even has that limp, because when he landed, he rolled his ankle on top of it.
Brett, he went back there knowing he was going to take that fucking shot too. He knew it.
Taker made him. Taker went in there and said, "You need to go see Brett."
Yeah. Yep. Well, Taker was the fucking locker room general. That dude was the fucking judge in wrestlers' court. Even Vince had to fucking abide by that shit.
Yeah.
Bottle of Jack, baby. Bottle of Jack. Well, it's funny because I had notes too, and I put down that, not that you need to see it or anything, but I even put down that Dean fought nobody, because like I didn't hear the name either. I'm like, they didn't even give the name, and it was all about Shawn. And I died laughing when we got to that whole part, because I'm like, when you asked me to be on the show, I mean, I was ecstatic. I'm like, yes, this is great. But of course you picked the one that had Doink. And I'm like, I know you're doing this on purpose, and I love it. Because the clown behind me is like, that's right. See, he's smiling at you. He's happy. You made the clown happy. But yeah, dude, it just, to sit here and be able to talk about this now, years later, because think about it when you first heard that stuff, right? Like, you believed it, like he got his ass kicked by 10 people, and then you find out it was one. Just
Well,
one.
the funniest thing is that Shawn Michaels is literally like a pussy. Like he cannot fight, and it's funny too because like a lot he's one of those guys like he legit can't fight. Like, and that's fucking hilarious.
Athletic as hell, but cannot fight. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know you, me, and Phoenix. Like, there wasn't anybody that was going to stop the three of us.
It's CM Punk,
Not in that
though.
bar the night we were there.
Not at that con that we were at either. So
it's CM Punk. It's like you're great at professional wrestling, but then
Not
when
MMA.
CM Punk released that video, like, I'll see you in the octagon next year. I'm like, are you fucking crazy, dude? Like, and it turns out he was real fucking crazy because they even gave him extra time, and he
Well, I think that's the thing with some of those guys is they start to believe their own hype.
Yep. They buy their own.
And you know what? To a degree, you could say the same thing about Lesnar because he went into the MMA thinking he was just going to rule the fucking roost.
Yep.
And then,
Mir.
oh God, what's
Frank
his
Mir.
name? Yeah, Mike.
out.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Mir.
Frank Mir.
Frank Mir.
Frank Mir.
Okay. Yeah, he messed him up. He's lucky he didn't have his ankle broke.
Yeah. Yep.
And he found out real quick that he don't like getting hit in the face. Like, you punch Lesnar in the face, and he fucking turns pink. His entire body.
That's it. Everybody wants to be a fighter until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Well, Tyson, baby.
Yep. It's a whole different world once you take one of them square. And look at this side profile. This shit is not easy to take one square in the mush with. Let me tell you what, it's happened a few times. And that shit ain't pretty. But no, man. That Dean Douglas and Joe Dorgan, that match was just like it was, and I'm like, so this is a go home show going into In Your House, right? This is a go home show. Your semi main event. And you're building towards, was it Dean versus Razor for the IC title at the pay-per-view?
Nah, Sean.
Oh, Sean was
originally.
fighting.
Remember, originally it was Sean, but then he got jumped, so then they didn't have the match because of that.
And see, what was the semi on Nitro again? I'm going to check right now because it's like, what are you thinking, Vince? Like, you take Dean Douglas, who's one of your mid-card guys at best, and put him up against a fucking jobber.
Ming and Duggan.
Duggan. Yeah.
Ming and Duggan. See,
but that was a hoss fight, and it was good.
Yeah, and people know who Hacksaw Jim Duggan is, and he's a lot more over than any of those guys on Raw. And then you've got Ming, who's this fucking monster that they're just starting to put some momentum into and build. I don't know what Vince is thinking, but you know what? It's pre-recorded, so I mean, it's not like. I mean, damn, this is like week 7 in Grand Rapids. Like, that audience had to be sitting on their fucking. Oh man, that had to been a long show. They might have done a couple nights in a row or something, but
yeah. But at this point, you'd think that he had already seen the writing on the wall because they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they were going to counter everything they did. So they should have went the route of trying to put out the best show every single night. And he just failed to realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, I messed up my number.
I guess so, because, man. And then just all of WWF was kind of cheese at this point, because then Doc Hendricks is back with another segment where he tries to sell the Two Dudes with Attitude shirt. Let me see if I can pull this up on Google. This is the worst shirt I've ever seen in my life. It's with HBK and Diesel on it. And it's only $20, but $20 back in 1995 is like fucking $35 now. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, it was such an awful. Yeah, here it is right here. Let's share the screen. Such an awful shirt. Worst shirt I've ever seen in my life. Jesus. It's just awful.
You know that Etep's got like 12 of them, right?
Those are the gayest fucking shirts I've ever seen.
Yeah, and this is what, like, they
I have
pushed
none of
one
those.
piece of merchandise this entire fucking hour, and this is it.
Yeah.
I don't believe Etep would have ever had that for a shirt. Leggings, maybe, but a shirt never.
Leggings.
Well, it's got Nash on it, so
Look how sad this guy is. That
He's
he has to wear it.
like that's not a ringing endorsement for that.
Yeah,
Was that
I'm
Eric
pretty
Young?
sure it was this.
Was that a
version
young
too.
Eric Young?
Can you imagine ordering one of these from Wish? It's probably like Andy Dick and fucking and Pauly Shore on it.
It's such an even for 1995. That's such an awful fucking shirt.
It is. This is as bad as I don't know. This is a bad fucking just. It's terrible.
You know, Vince was back there getting drilled by Dean Douglas at one point, and he's all bent out, and he looks up in the mirror and sees Dean wearing this shirt, and he's like, "Yeah, attitude. That's what we need to do."
But remember, you got a free VHS, or was it DVD at the time? DVD.
VHS. 95,
Okay.
You got VHS.
Yep, you're right. VHS. I got it here. I had to find it. I got to get it in my eye where I could actually see. But yeah. So you got the shirt and a free WWF, VHS tape.
Coliseum home video.
So, yeah, after that, Paul Bearer does a short promo backstage segment where he cries about The Undertaker being injured, but Taker will, yes, he will return to crush the souls of Yokozuna and Mabel soon.
Wait.
And you will never look the same either. I'm sorry. I loved it. The last Raw I went to was the Raw that they showed after he had passed. I was in Indy for that show.
Yeah.
Damn you! You hurt the Undertaker! I swear he'll be back by the next pay-per-view.
I don't.
We got shirts to sell.
Yes.
The T-shirt, 1995. 1995, Percy.
So the main event wasn't bad. We have the steel cage match where if Lawler interferes, he will be locked in a cage, which definitely happens. And it's Bret Hart versus Isaac Yankem. And I hate, if it's a cage match, I still want a pinfall or submission. I hate the escape from the cage clause.
I hated that in the video games. It was a bitch.
Yes. It's like, just let me fucking pin him. Like, the dude.
It seems cheap.
It never translates well. Number one, it never translates well on the actual show on TV because it seems like they're running away. But in the video games, holy fuck. It's like you're trying to get out of there. You finally get him all to the top of the cage, and you're trying to get him to climb back down, and he always does a fucking flying crossbody off of it. Like, son of a bitch.
Oh, Draven says, get good at the video game, scrub. Fuck you. You have to press the goddamn button 900 times in 5 seconds to fucking get over the top of the cage. And even No Mercy, I never play cage matches. I never do. The only way I'll ever play a cage match on one of my cards is if I book it to where I know I'm going to end in a time limit draw, and I'll work the match for 10 minutes, and I'll just work to a fucking draw and just beat the fuck out of whoever it is. But I can never get out of the fucking, because you have to go over the top. It's like in the PlayStation ones, you could go out the fucking door.
And that's exactly what I remember the door too. Yeah, that's exactly what Bret Hart does. He climbs over the fucking cage, and Isaac Yankem isn't even fucked up. Like, he's trying to stop. Like, he's not. His opponent isn't defeated, and it's like you'd think, okay, if it's escalated to the point of a cage match, one of these two need to be defeated. But no, Isaac Yankem is just fucking fine. He's trying to stop Bret, but can't, and Bret wins. And that's the end of Raw. And it wasn't a horrible main event. It's just terrible.
But you're skipping the best part. I don't want to interrupt here, but come on. Lawler in the cage, above the cage?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I kept biting my tongue. I was like, I'm sorry. That may, just the blue cage. I miss the blue cages, man. I do. I mean, the camera work was shit, when you had those cages. But that's kind of go back to the 90s, right? That's what you got. But we all knew that Lawler was going to interfere. And then when he did, it was great to see, because Lawler was a great heel.
Oh, yeah.
I love Lawler.
He was a good weasel.
Lawler was a great heel. Ask that girl's parents.
That's right.
You guys talk about
soon?
Lawler being in his bondage cage for a second. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was one of the things I loved was seeing there because I got my notes. See, I heard Mr. People's Champion over here was taking notes. So as I'm in the gym working out, talking to Tony, watching this stuff as I do every Tuesday, I had to actually take notes to be kind of semi-professional, not professional YouTuber.
I didn't take notes on the WWF stuff because I was like, I took such good notes on WCW. I looked at the WWF and watched those two shows and then watched them again. I'm like, I don't have the fucking energy to write notes on this.
There wasn't much to really write, but I mean, it's just the Lawler, it's the Lawler stuff, like all of it. When you start to finish, Lawler's the best part of Raw, in my opinion.
Jerry was entertaining as hell, and for what they did with the car, it's like some of the like the booking back then. It's like, oh my god, you had no idea you had gold, and it's funny because they bring in JC Ice and Wolfie D because soon they would start a gimmick in USWA called the Nation of Domination. Yes, it didn't start with fucking Vince McMahon in a stable full of black wrestlers. No, it started in USWA. Bill Dundee's son, Jamie fucking Dundee, and that's how the motherfucker talks. Because I used to leave him voicemails sounding like himself when he's fucked up just to fuck with him. And because I met him through Shane Morton, Buzzed Up, Mikey Woods, the Tennessee guys I used to work with, and Jamie started that fucking Nation of Domination gimmick in USWA. Vince liked it, hired him, put him with a bunch of the brothers, and was like, "You guys are fucking out. You're fired," and took the fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
So that's how that started. Yep, it was fucking two white boys from USWA. Then fucking Vince McMahon fucking stole that fucking gimmick from us.
Okay, but do you feel that they would have done better than what Vince did? Because I got to tell you, the Nation was pretty kick-ass.
No, they wouldn't have. I mean,
Okay.
Jamie couldn't stay sober for a fucking week to actually do anything. I mean, he got that motherfucker was not even ever that good of a worker.
Okay.
And he got a fucking shot at because of who his dad was, because from the territory days, Vince knew his dad, Bill Dundee, and he'd been around for a while, so he brings in the USWA tag champions. Later on, he brings in the fucking NWA tag champions, Midnight Express.
Yep.
And
Didn't Jim Cornette run an angle with the NWA?
Jim Cornette was running Smoky Mountain Wrestling at this point too.
Yeah.
Because Smoky Mountain ran from 92 to 96 before it shut down. And he was still running Smoky Mountain. 95 was when it kind of started to go downhill because 94 was like their best year. And then it went down after that. But yeah, he brought in their tag champs and everything. Yeah. And yeah, Vince worked with the NWA. He worked with Smoky Mountain a little bit. And like I said, he had the USWA. Like I said, he brought different belts on his show back in the day. Yeah, but that was more of a carryover from the fucking territory days, though.
I enjoy the cross promotional stuff, and that's one thing I enjoy about AEW now. Is like the only time I've been interested in the Impact Heavyweight Championship in the past 20 years is when Kenny Omega and Christian were actually wrestling for it on Dynamite. It just kind of gives it, I don't know, more. It put it in a bigger platform, I guess, gave it a little more credibility in my eyes.
This belt's worth more than the Impact title because it's never been held by a fucking 125-pound woman.
Right?
Jesus.
Fucking. Yeah. So, and not only that, but a fucking bitch that got paid to take a shit and record it and send it to a fucking mark.
Nice.
Tessa Blanchard. That racist ass bitch Tessa Blanchard got paid by some mark $200 to record herself taking a shit and sell it to him.
Fuck, I'll do that if someone wants to pay me
they
$200.
They put the Impact Heavyweight title on this dumb fucking bitch. That title at that point, I fucking wipe my ass with that title. And
I thought they had gotten rid of her at one point.
They did. They got rid of her. She's been gone. She's been gone since she said that racist shit. Oh yeah, she got roasted on Twitter. She got canceled. She did.
How far she fell from her father, though, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude. Tully's probably, Tully's, and he's still alive. Tully's around. Tully's probably like, you fucking idiot. Like she fucking yeah. I'm sorry.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's all right though, Pete. It's all right there, Mr. Etep. Check it out, right? So then, based off that comment, this belt is definitely worth way more than that title.
They never should have put like okay, and I've gone on this rant before, and I'm gonna do it one more time, Tony, just for a minute, 60 seconds. Intergender wrestling. I'm talking like, and I have Jennifer Thomas on my show tomorrow who does this shit. This intergender wrestling shit on cheap plug for the show tomorrow. It never benefits the male. Never. What the fuck are you gonna gain? Like I said, that one dude, Brian Cage, 270 pounds. He's taking a Canadian destroyer from this little bitch. I'm never gonna take him seriously if I'm a mark again. I'm like, this fucking bitch put you in a Canadian destroyer. Granted, he did all the work in that move because the person taking it does all the fucking work. But like what? So he's 270 pounds. It's fucking ridiculous. And these promotions to try to do that shit. And don't tell me Nyla Rose, if that motherfucker ever wrestles a fucking man, that's not a mixed match because Nyla Rose is a fucking man.
Oh, what about Santino Marella?
Oh, when he dressed like a woman, that was fucking that. He was more of a female than Nyla Rose was. I'm done, I promise.
It's wrestling, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, there ain't no fluff here.
Yeah.
That's just a car.
So we get one of those weird ratings fluctuations again with these two shows, because on October 16th, Raw was 2.6, Nitro was 2.2, but it's flipped for the 23rd. So the audience overall didn't grow at all at this point, but Raw got a 2.2, and Nitro came away the winner for October 23rd with a 2.6, and they're in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the show and same commentators, Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Steve Mongo McMichael, and Pepe the Chihuahua.
Baby.
We got dark matches. We got 3 dark matches.
Oh, yeah. What were those?
We've got, all right, so we kick off with Shark, a.k.a. Typhoon, versus the generic Ultimate Warrior, the Renegade. Shark goes over in that. Then we had the number 2, we had the Blue Bloods, Sir Earl Robert Eaton, Bobby Eaton from the Midnight Express, and Lord Steven Regal versus Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. The Blue Bloods went over in that. And Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater were an interesting tag team for 1995 because that was like a 1986 like Moondog Spot type gimmick that just like somehow hung around until 95. And number 3, our dark match, we had the World TV title, which was defended in the opener the week before by Diamond Dallas Page against Johnny B. Bad. It ended in the DQ finish. Page versus Cobra, or AKA, as we found out a couple weeks ago, NWO Sting. But DDP retained the title. And those are your dark matches. And you have a title match over there, and you didn't have one title match on Raw. But yet, did you? No, you didn't. But yet you have a TV title match in a dark match here on Nitro. So it speaks to the booking.
Yeah.
Earthquake. Sorry, man. What did I say? Typhoon?
Earthquake, yeah.
That was Tugboat. Tugboat and Typhoon. Weren't they the same person? I think. I don't know.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I wasn't going to say it out loud.
No, you're fine. No, if I fuck up an old gimmick like that, correct me. I wasn't sure about it. I was like, I thought it was Typhoon. So I was like, Typhoon? I don't know.
Well, I made the same thing. I couldn't remember Murr's name from UFC. I was thinking Mike Murr, and I was thinking that probably because of suicidal tendencies.
Hey, man, look, with this panel, the amount of wrestling that we've watched, let alone the person that was an independent wrestler, I mean, we're not going to, we're going to mess up a little bit. Just a skosh.
I can't remember some of my matches, let alone some.
Yeah.
That's because I was just drunk through them. So fuck. I said I lived the Scott Hall gimmick, baby. I wasn't just talking about throwing a toothpick. I actually threw a toothpick while I was fucking wasted because I was like, oh, fuck this shit. We're wrestling the fucking midgets tonight. Let's fucking get drunk.
So you said that this WCW beat Raw, yeah?
Yes. And Raw beat WCW in the set of episodes we just got done reviewing,
right.
And then Nitro beats Raw here.
Okay.
And
That's good to know.
It's easy to see what, like, the show starts off with Macho Man Randy Savage versus Kurosawa.
Started hot.
Great match.
Fucking hot.
Yeah, and Macho Man, of course, is the victor after he hits a top rope elbow drop on Kurosawa and gets the 1, 2, 3. But Bischoff inquires how much this really took out of Savage because we're only 6 days away from Halloween Havoc. And who did because I know Savage has got to wrestle someone, then Luger wrestled Ming, and if the two come out victorious, then they'll meet later on at Halloween Havoc. Yeah. So they've got a long night ahead of them in 6 days.
Savage took a lot of heat during this match. Like, he took all the heat, but it was mostly like a lot of punches and kicks and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was dead. Well, he had a separated tricep at this point.
Yeah, he was injured. He was working injured. Like,
his whole tricep was fucking separated. It was like, how he was even wrestling at that point, I have no fucking idea. Like, instinct. It was pure instinct and muscle.
Well, this was the beginning of his run to start beefing up too, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he was only about 230, 225, 230 here. And or maybe 235. And yeah, he got up to probably around he pushed himself up to about 250, I think, 255, which Savage was only like 5'9". Like, he was not a tall man. Like, he's not a big, he maybe scraped the very bottom of the 6 foot. Like, we're talking 5'11" and 15/16.
Me.
You know, he was not, but for him to stack that mass on, he looked big for a while there.
Yeah, especially in the Madness days, like towards the end of his run in WCW, he was fucking roided out.
Oh God! Yeah.
Oh damn, dude! They say 6'1" is what his height was, but
yeah, that's build too.
Yep.
That's horseshit because they had Bubba Ray Dudley listed as something like 6'3", and I seen him at the CYO in Trenton, New Jersey, right on Broad Street, right down the street from where I lived. Mm-hmm. I seen them in person, and no, he was not no 6'3".
He's like 5'10".
Yeah,
isn't he? He's around 5'10".
You know who else was there that night too?
Who's 5'10"?
Oh God damn,
Bubba Ray.
He went by Nails.
Waylon. Was that Waylon Mercy?
No, the real tall guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Nails. He was the ex-convict, wasn't he? Like, he didn't have an ex-con gimmick.
Well, he was Nails, and when they did their motorcycle gang thing under the Undertaker,
Kevin Wacholtz.
Brian Lee or Lee something Lee.
Well, his shoot name's Kevin Wacholtz.
Yeah.
Yep. Brian Lee was Chains.
Oh, okay, Chains then. Okay,
he was in ECW too.
Right, yeah. And I seen him in ECW that same night, and he was billed as something like 6'7", and he was not no 6'7". He wasn't even close.
It says 6'5", because I was looking it up real quick. I was like, all right, let me take a look from Minnesota, Bloomington, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, share my screen for a second. Hang on, let me pull this up.
See, I love looking this stuff up and talking to you. This is great.
Look at this. Look at this figure.
Look at it.
Look.
This over here. That bitch is $198 for that fucking Nails figure.
Jeez.
What the fuck? Why?
Because, dude, how many Nails figures did they fucking actually make?
I guess 5.
Yeah, I got to pay $200 for fucking Kevin Wacholtz. I don't know about that.
Oh God, I'm thinking back. What was the rest of those guys in that biker gang? Skull and 8 Ball.
That's the Harris brothers, Ron and Don.
Right, and then there was Chains, which was Brian Lee.
Yep, Chains is Brian Lee. Because he was primetime Brian Lee in ECW.
Right, and there was a fourth guy besides The Undertaker. Because there was 5 of them total, I thought.
I think so. Skull, 8 Ball, Chains. Let's see.
Didn't Crush join them for a minute?
Crush was in the Nation of Domination.
Okay.
So you had Crush, Chains, Skull, and 8 Ball. There was 4. So Crush did join them. He did join the DOA. All right. So he was in the Nation and the DOA. But at this time, you also had Los Boricuas, which was Savio Vega's gimmick. Remember that?
Yeah.
But we're talking about Nitro right now.
I know, right? Like, we went out weird rabbit hole. Sorry, people, but hey, we're having fun. Are you not entertained?
Yeah. So, what happens next? All right, Macho Man opens the show.
Yep.
He defeats Kurosawa.
Yep.
And then
Giant shoot, Hogan
You got-
shoot.
Bischoff, Heenan, and McMichael. They put over the main. The lights dim, and you have Kevin Sullivan's dad screaming about the Yeti, which
see, I wrote Fat Palpatine.
no, literally. Okay,
Man in
so,
Ice.
all right, so this is what my notes say. It says Bischoff, Heenan, and McMichael on commentary put over the main event. When the lights dim and the fat guy screams that the package has been delivered, we see a big block of ice that contains whatever the fat guy is rambling about, which was the Yeti.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the insurance policy.
Yeah, the insurance policy. My son Sullivan. He was Fat Palpatine from fucking
He
Rise of
was.
Skywalker.
Tony,
That's-
you get the
that's-
award.
that's-
You got
that's
the best
perfect.
name. I just put fat guy.
I did too. I just wrote fat guy. I was like, it's fucking Kevin Sullivan's dad, the fat fucking guy. You know?
Damn it, Etep, get out of my head.
It's the fucking pencil back then too. Like, yeah, Dad, I'll get you on TV.
Sullivan was
Make up for 10
Sullivan,
hours.
but was he booking at this? Because he booked at one point. I don't know
Yeah,
if
he was booking right now.
he booked himself into a divorce too, and a double homicide, a triple homicide actually.
Mhm.
A murder suicide. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Allegedly.
Tony, I'm sorry. I gotta dip out. You know why. So
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Well, man,
Thank you
I
for
hope you're
stopping
okay
by.
with the PWO here.
No, I
Tim,
love it. I love representation. Eventually, I'm planning on doing something with the channel with it too. We'll see if they could try to come after me. I don't think they can because as long as it's changed,
Hey, bro,
it's considered what is that?
it's fair use. We use
Yeah.
this logo. We were on TV when I was the last wrestling company I was with. We did TV and we use this. I mean, we got some heat for doing the fucking because we come out and we do the too sweet and the promoters were saying that hey man we can't you do it's like I'm gonna do it so but they never said anything about the logo so you're good.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing like Weird Al does. He's doing a parody. That's the word I was looking for. So technically, yeah, I mean, it's the same reason they couldn't hit ECW when they did the BWO.
Yep.
As long as it's changed a little bit and it's considered a parody, there's really nothing they could do about it. So
Yeah.
Don't forget the all-important LWO.
Dude,
Yeah,
I need to get one of those shirts.
I know. I've been keeping my eye open in case I find one because you forget shit all the time. I don't.
Yeah, I do.
But
no, I appreciate time being on here to talk with you guys. So
Definitely, brother. Thank you for stopping
chat,
by.
you all amazing. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share it out. Make sure you get more people over here viewing this. All right, y'all. Have a good one. I'll catch you next week.
nibble,
Thanks,
baby.
bro.
Nibble.
All right. Take care,
Have a
y'all.
good one, bro.
Later.
Yeah, so
und then there were four.
yes.
That's that what a fool. I mean, if you want, I'll let Jelly back over here because earlier that was the pregnant one that she had to come say hi. But I didn't want to interrupt when you were talking, so I just had her sit here and chill. She's like, as you notice, she made no noise, even though they can watch us on the 64 inch. They're just like, hey, I got to be on.
But is it really for when I come on with just a party of people. You know what I mean? Infowars.com. Fuck Fauci. Did someone call my name? I'm gonna stab all you sons of bitches. Oh no!
Vinny's squad.
See, if Fauci and Miss Elizabeth got together, then she could have got Magic Johnson in on that whole Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone thing.
Yep.
Just saying.
Right?
By the Doom Wiener, my sources. Reddit. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not gonna go full. That's your shit. You're great at it, but there was the Doom Wiener.
So, yeah, we get Kevin Sullivan's dad. He hypes up the insurance policy for Halloween Havoc, and then we get Eddie Guerrero and Mr. JL with Alex Wright, and they defeat Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko when Alex Wright interferes and trips Malenko, and then Mr. JL rolls him up for the 1-2-3. But during the match, and I thought of this when you mentioned Shark being on the dark match, Etep.
Yeah.
We cut away to Scott Norton and Shark brawling backstage because Shark costed Norton a match
Against
on
Sabin.
September 11th.
Yep.
It's October 23rd, and this is the first anything we've heard about it.
Norton's like, I finally saw you. Norton got away from craft services.
Yeah. Like it's like a month and a half later, and oh well, maybe we'll follow up on this now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, the match ends. Eddie Guerrero's walking away all happy and high fiving the fans or whatever he's doing,
Yep.
and the loose cannon comes
Brian,
out and
Brian
DDTs Eddie Guerrero
fucking
onto the
Pillman.
concrete because he hates illegal aliens, and that's the only reason. Like, no other reason but that he just came out and DDT'd Eddie Guerrero,
And
who
he did
just
that.
debuted like
Yep.
3 weeks before.
Yep.
So
He
I
threw
think-
he was throwing the horseman up too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
That
Today,
match-
he would have been canceled today.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, yeah. You can't put a.
And
white
remember
guy
though,
over
that
him.
match was supposed to be Eddie and Alex together,
right.
but because of his bum wheel, as the brain said, he couldn't wrestle. He couldn't get cleared.
Yep.
yeah.
So that's why.
Thank God, I'd rather see Mr. JL.
Yeah,
You know,
that was.
Alex Wright was a good worker, but Mr. Jerry, it's Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn was God, that guy could work.
Yeah,
Remember he did that the new effing show angle where he was like getting over on Van Dam. This match was fucking wonderful though, from a technical perspective. Dude, you have Benoit and Malenko, two future four horsemen. And Guerrero and Jerry Lynn. I mean, Jerry Lynn is probably the most underrated one of the bit. I don't think Dean Malenko gets enough credit.
No.
Yeah,
He
because
wasn't.
He's a little guy, but man, I loved how he worked.
He could work, and he
yeah.
wasn't flashy, but he was just like he was so good and crisp at everything he did.
He was fun to
technical, dude.
watch. Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
was
was.
fun to watch, man.
He was excellent of execution. He
Think
was-
about it. He was one of those guys that, like us, we could all watch. Because Vinny, I've not really met you, but I got a feeling you're going to be kind of like between myself and Etep's height. 6 foot 6'3". So like we could watch a guy like Malenko, and we're not huge, and you could be like, hey, I could do that. Even Tony,
Oh, yeah.
all of us could watch that from a technical standpoint and go, I could do that.
Oh yeah, one of my brothers actually got to meet Malenko.
That's
In high school, my brother was
Nice.
working. He was working at a bagel shop, and he was down here, which was funny. He's like, "Oh my god!" He goes, "He really is tiny, and he's
Yeah.
even more quiet in person than he is in the ring."
Yep. Yeah, Dean is like what 5'8", 5'7". He's not
Something like that.
a tall guy.
yeah.
But
He's a badass.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But you had some spots during this match. The belly to belly. You had a nice belly to belly pin attempt by JL, or by Malenko on JL. You had. I loved Malenko, that spinning back elbow he used to do coming off the Irish whip.
Oh yeah.
It was so fucking clean. Okay, yeah. Eddie had that beautiful combination head scissor arm drag takedown on Benoit and Malenko at the same time.
Mhm.
That was a fucking gorgeous spot. And that just speaks to Eddie's athleticism. But Benoit and Malenko, it's their job to really put that over. And they did a fucking great job of it. This match was addition by subtraction, with Alex Wright sitting this one out in kayfabe in the injury.
I think we all benefited from him.
Oh, yeah.
not
Yeah.
being in the ring.
I mean, that's the only thing I hated was the ending, like him tripping him up, and I get it, but at the end of the day, like those four in the ring didn't need him to assist. I mean, that was a great match.
Yeah, it was. And the main event was good too. It was Sting and Lex Luger,
Yeah.
and they defeat Harlem Heat. When Sting splashes Booker T from the top rope, and the celebration is short-lived because here comes the Dungeon of Doom, who they really were like the NWO back in these days. I mean, they were all over the fucking show and interfering in all kinds of matches. But yeah, fucking Giant comes out, starts tearing all the wrestlers up. They kick Harlem Heat out. They beat up Sting and Luger. Then Hogan and Savage come out to make the save.
Yep.
And ends up with Giant, Hogan, and Savage in the ring. But Hogan wants to face off against the Giant by himself. So starts punching Giant in the face to no effect. Then Giant knocks Hogan down, and Hogan hulks up, and he starts to damage the Giant, but then here comes the entire Dungeon of Doom, and they interfere.
Yep.
Then here comes the security.
Doug Dillinger.
Yeah.
Doug fucking Dillinger, baby.
So then the show goes off the air, but you hear like a monster truck revving up, like they're teasing like it's about to enter the arena or something. And the show goes off the air, but that's what was good about Nitro. Then it was always like uncertainty and anything can happen next. So,
well, remember too, this is very important, okay? Because I watch you guys, and you know this. I'm in the chat. Hi, everybody in the chat. Sorry, I can't like do multiple things. I only got one eye, but this is the event where first Giant takes out Luger. Then he takes out Sting, because remember, that was a big thing. Savage pointed to Sting, and he's like, hey, brother, see him taking you down. You ain't getting none either. So this is the first time where you get to see, Sting take a choke slam. And those choke slams I like better than the newer ones.
Because he came down with it. Like,
he came
down with the guy. It looks better. It looked like he was trying to drive him through the ring. It looked... And like I said, man, this is such a testament to Paul White's athleticism. Because he was so green at this point. Yep. God, he was green. He was a a baby back then. He was a rookie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he put on he did excellent work still. It looked good. It was very believable because of his size and just his physical. Like, you could tell he's not just tall. This dude is fucking thick. He's built. This motherfucker's strong. Yep. And it looked good. It was a nice contrast with Hogan. And it really did. You're talking 12 years prior, Hogan's facing off with Andre in Pontiac. So at Mania 3. So it was a nice it worked because Hogan could actually wrestle, but Hogan never wanted to wrestle. Hogan wanted to come out, take the heat, get a hope spot, cut off, hope spot, cut off, hope spot, cut off, double down, fucking, come back, go back into the heat, Hulk up, fucking, and take it home. That was every Hogan match right there. That's every fucking Hogan match that he ever went over in. That's the formula.
Leg drop.
The fucking boot. No, yeah. Was it Vern Gagne? Vern Gagne said, he says, my grandmother could fucking do that leg drop better than Hogan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking Vern Gagne, man.
Some of them leg drops, you wonder why he had some bad hips. But I mean, and then the part that pissed me off the most, though, and you guys did mention it, I'm sure you saw it, but it's like the ice thing shatters and this person starts walking out, but they cut it like 3 seconds after. Like, that should have went for like 10 seconds.
Well, they did it because they didn't want to give away the full Yeti at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, watching it, dude, I was like, I like rewound it. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just? I was like, no, I didn't miss it. It did happen, but
the fucking Yeti ended up committing sexual assault against fucking Hulk Hogan at Halloween Havoc, and him and the Giant got Me Too'd.
What?
Can you see my video? I'll send you the video. I'll send you the video of what happened in the ring. It was fucking fun. Tony knows. Tony and Adam know what I'm talking about. It was funny though, really, like, because the Yeti ended up being Ron Reese. From the Flock, that big dude with the fucking mohawk, and he was bigger than the fucking Giant. Like, that dude was he was like 7'4". Like, Reese was big.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he's still alive anymore, truthfully. But he was. When they put him in the Flock, I'm like, that's an odd fucking move. Like, it really was, because you had like Raven, Hammer, Sick Boy, Kidman, Saturn, and I think that was it, wasn't it? Lodi. I forgot about fucking Lodi's. Lodi's fucking gay ass. I was gonna hit the button, but I'm like, oh shit, I'm not hosting. I was like, where's the fucking hot gay button? Where's the gay button?
The lesbians.
Fucking.
But yeah,
Reese was a monster.
He was huge. That Yeti thing, though, that was like, they never showed him again after Halloween Havoc. He never fucking, it was like, never spoke of again. It was like the gobbledygook. It's like,
gobbledygook.
We'll never speak of this again.
My head.
So, speaking of the gobbledygooker, Raw from October 23rd is from Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. We're finally out of fucking Grand Rapids. It's insane. I never thought we'd make it. I thought they were still there today.
They're working for the DeVosses now.
Yeah.
Why was it
So-
there for so fucking long?
They did a shitload of tapings there for their house
Yeah,
shows.
it had to have
Raw.
been like a 2-day event at least.
Yeah.
Like there were so many Raws there. So yeah, the In Your House pay-per-view happened, and Shawn Michaels was still injured from getting his ass kicked at the bar. So he was forced to vacate the IC title to Dean Douglas, who in turn had to defend it against Razor Ramon, making Razor an unprecedented 4-time Intercontinental Champion. So Raw begins with the 20-man over-the-top battle royal for the #1 contendership to Razor's title, which progresses down to Marty Jannetty and Owen Hart, which left Owen hanging from the rafters at one point, but he was able to gain momentum and get back in the ring. Marty Jannetty ended up getting sent flying in between the ropes to the outside, so he wasn't eliminated, but British Bulldog came out and attacked Marty Jannetty, and then throws Jannetty back in the ring, and Owen Hart sends MJ over the top rope, leaving Owen the winner, and Marty Jannetty headed back to do lines.
And didn't Marty Jannetty sleep with like his daughter or something later on? Isn't that
Probably.
his stepdaughter or something he slept with? Did he do a fucking
His
Woody
own
Allen?
stepdaughter?
Didn't he
Shit.
do a Woody Allen?
Jesus.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
He did some fucked up shit, or he admitted he knew where her
Like-
body was or some shit.
He went
Yeah,
out to
yeah,
his
no, he killed
stepdaughter.
Yeah, he
He
killed
went-
someone. I remember Vinny
Yeah.
saying something about
Yeah,
that.
I was like, did
yeah.
he kill a guy, or was it incest? I can't remember if he was
Both.
if he was Jake the Snake Roberts' dad or the guy that killed Bruiser Brody, Carlos Colon. Or no, it was Mil. I can't remember. Sorry,
I'm just
Tony.
thinking his stepdaughter sitting in the living room, like after dinner, watching Rick and Morty or something. And here comes Marty Jannetty sitting down next to her, and he puts her arm around her, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Marty Jannetty."
I was in the rocker.
Again, I think you're getting him confused with Grizzly Smith.
Grizzly Smith, Jake's dad, dude. Holy
Could be. I think you're right, Vinny. I think you're right. But I have to insert the Flair joke here. At least he didn't have little Flair out.
Sometimes you just gotta think.
Flair.
Sometimes
I'm
you-
sorry. Flair did nothing wrong. I put it in the
Sometimes you
chat
got-
last week or the week before or whatever week that was because they all run together sometimes. But, bitch got paid. We know what happened. I'm sorry you can't shut him out, and they did. And I'm pissed. I can't believe WWE pulled all the Flair stuff.
They did.
The general
Wow.
fired him.
Pussies.
Yep.
Yeah, they the thing is, regardless whether if he even did it, he says it
Exactly.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I just don't care at this point. It's the boy who cried wolf, and maybe if you didn't use this shit to try to stop Supreme Court justices from being, appointed, or maybe I'd care a little more, but I just don't. So
Vince
it's their
was
fault.
was forcing referees to have sex with him, but something like this, an
Yeah,
accident happened on a plane.
exactly.
What about?
Don't worry. I still have my Vince joke. We haven't quite got to it because it is in this bit, but I do have a good Vince joke. So
Poor Mike Chioda.
I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go back to San Francisco. Pat Patterson's huge there.
huge.
I said,
That's-
put on more baby oil.
That's what caused them to get sued was Pat Patterson, because they had that ring announcer that worked there, and he was his first week there, and Patterson was like basically came on to him, and the guy was like no, and it was like he was fired like a couple days later, and it's like, yeah, that's a lawsuit, buddy. That's a fucking lawsuit. Patterson's trying to fuck dude, and it's fucked up, man. I said to say, it's like, look, if you want to suck the dude's dick, just fucking tell him, hey, look, man, I want to suck your dick. No, okay, then fucking move on to the next one, Pat. He's obviously not into it. Like, this motherfucker was like, and they just let it go though. Like, Vince just let it go. Like, he didn't.
Oh, that's just Pat.
Yeah, like you said, it's like,
Didn't Piper beat him up?
I think so.
That would be awesome.
I think Hot Rod did bust his fucking face up a little bit because he said something. Didn't he say something off color to Roddy, and he was like, kind of dotted him.
He wasn't going to take that from him. I think he even tried to make a pass at him. And he
I think that's why Roddy beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Please, Piper, let me blow you. And he's like, you ain't touching my bagpipes, bitch.
Unwrestle, don't on WrestleZone.com. Was Roddy Piper graped by Pat Patterson? Hold. I don't know if I should share this screen. I don't want to get in trouble over that word.
Dude.
Come on, Susan. Take a chill pill. Chillax.
We haven't even talked about Hardbody Harrison yet. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The motherfucker was like sex trafficking like women. He was a crackhead fucking pimp.
Don't remember that one.
He was a jobber for WCW. Yeah.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, this motherfucker was like dirty. Like dirty. Like remember that dude in that dude in fucking Cleveland, that Helio Castro that kept them girls in his basement?
Oh fuck.
Like this motherfucker was like that. Like that ain't no joke.
Whoa.
Like, yeah.
Hold on. We gotta. I think Roddy Piper got Little Bow out. Look, it's conceivable that even many present-day viewers know of Pat Patterson, for he used to show up in WWE programming as a corporate stooge whose ass we all liked seeing get kicked. There is a bit of wrestling history attached to Patterson, though, having been the first ever Intercontinental Champion, along with the ignominy of having a questionable reputation when it comes to conduct. Who am I kidding? Pat Patterson, as the WWE Universe knew for years before the official announcement came out on Legends House, is homosexual. Not only that, he has been alleged to have persuaded young and up-and-coming superstars into sexual favors under the pretext of giving them a push in the company. Roddy Piper's admission is much that Patterson coaxed him into sexual favors, and that the trying nature of the industry didn't exactly leave him much option was something that took tremendous courage, as is evident in his interview. The Piper completely reverts his stance in the latter part of the video in a fire and brimstone post commentary, pretty much smacks of damage control, and ironically serves to highlight Patterson's guilt further.
I remember I heard something in the beginning of his career, because I know he was like living in the streets and shit. And I think Patterson was trying to do something to him or promise him shit. But I know, I think when he went to WWE,
because he was married by then. Yeah. He was like, he got married when, before he made it to WWF. Before he went to WCW too, I think he was in what was the name of the promotion in Portland, Oregon? That's where he met his wife.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that one.
It's
always, he started as a commentator, and then they surprised everyone, and he started wrestling.
What the fuck is the name of that promotion? It was big back then.
Yeah.
Remember, it was the PWO. Portland Morla.
It was Pacific Northwest Wrestling.
Yep.
Herb Owen was the founder.
Promoter. Okay.
Yeah. Don Owen, the Owen family, it looks like. And then I think when he went to Jim Crockett Promotions is when they brought him in as the commentator. I think. Okay. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's been a while. I remember
wasn't alive then.
Shit. Yeah, because he had on the nice suits and stuff, and then he started abusing those wrestlers. Like, who the fuck is this guy? He's a commentator. Then he's like slapped one of them in the face, and then he had a throwdown with them.
Yes.
And the next week he was in the ring with them.
Yeah.
It was a full setup.
They got him heat that way first, and then oh shit, this dude can wrestle.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, he was like talking shit to all the faces of the company, and yeah, good times. So
see, that's smart and that's interesting. You don't really see shit like that anymore.
No,
they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it sucks.
There we go. Wait, here, let me move this for a second. There's Pat and Jerry. Mr. McMahon. Jerry Briscoe, remember that? Mr. McMahon.
Patterson had a field day in that locker room.
Oh, gross.
Look at he's like Patterson this is why he wanted to agent for the fucking Nation of Domination every match. Think about it. He got he's hanging out with him in the locker room. He's going over finishes. He's talking about the match. He's back there going like, Yeah, go ahead, Ron. Get changed. Yeah, you two
Taking
rock.
D'Lo Brown to Waffle House.
D'Lo was like Pat. I did. Did I just do that?
Yes, you did, and it was great. That was great.
Look,
That was
I'm
perfect.
So, Owen Hart wins the Battle Royal, and Jerry Lawler interviews him and announces that the title match will take place against Razor next week on Raw. And then, surprise, surprise, it's mid-90s Raw. We get a flashback. But it's of last night's In Your House where Diesel loses a fucking pay-per-view WWF Championship main event via disqualification because, okay, first he gets knocked outside of the ring and fucking slaps Bret Hart, and they kind of get into it a little bit, but Bret sits back down, and then Bulldog like throws Diesel into the stairs or whatever, and then Bulldog slaps the shit out of Bret Hart.
Like a bitch.
Yeah, and then Bret Hart starts attacking him, and it gets Diesel disqualified. And it's a little biased too. Like, if it was a real sporting event, you'd be like, what the fuck? Because it's basically Bret Hart choosing his opponent for Survivor Series, because whoever wins this match goes on to defend the championship against Bret Hart at Survivor Series. So now we know it's going to be Diesel defending against Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird how they set that up. Even for wrestling, it's like, maybe he shouldn't be out. Like, I get the commentary thing, but you're also doing the phone thing. Then maybe have him call in on the phone because he's literally choosing his opponent at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, at that point that they were all they were so tapped for ideas. They didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
They've said as much as well.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it even that's why they brought in fucking Russo? They want to get someone who wasn't even really into wrestling, or
Yeah, he was writing for the magazine at the time, and
Yep. And he was a huge Jerry Springer fan.
Yeah.
Well, remember too, this is kind of the pre-build up for the Bret Hitman Hart run. I mean, granted, we're still off a bit, but
Yeah.
he's gonna get the title.
yeah.
Right.
Because of course everything that we know happens. Back then we didn't know. If you go back to that 1995, your ass had no clue.
No.
Yeah.
So,
although I have to say, let's see, they were in Canada, yeah. So that's probably why Bret was, I mean, other than what you're saying, we got to bring out the whole.
Were they for the pay-per-view? I don't know where the In Your House was, but this Raw's in Canada, so probably.
So, I mean, that was kind of my thought on that. Although I have to say, when Backlund popped out and listen to Vince stumble was pretty funny. Backlund, he's running for president. Why not?
Fucking Backlund.
In Canada?
Yeah, it was in Winnipeg.
Yeah. What year did Piper put Bret over when they were outside? Which
for the Intercontinental? Yeah, English is hard. For the Intercontinental title, right?
Yeah. Do you remember what year that was?
WrestleMania 8, so that would have been 92. Let me check.
92. Okay.
I think, let me check, because WrestleMania 9 was out here in Vegas, so I'm pretty sure that was 93. Yep, 1992.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, I should go back and watch that match. That
was one hell of a fucking match.
Roddy Piper's fight. See, that's the difference between Piper and Hogan. WrestleMania 8 and WrestleMania 9.
I'm sorry, I was distracted looking at pictures of Medusa Michelli. Alundra Blaze.
Shame on you, Etep.
Yeah. It looked like you should
share with the rest of us.
We'll get there. She main events this Raw, but
she
was wearing all white, and I swear to God, you can see like the wet sweat stain on her butt cheeks.
Yep.
Oh, big time, dude. Big time. But scarier than that, I forgot to say it, and I apologize for jumping back to the Pat Patterson. But all those poor guys are in a spank bank.
Pat Patterson.
Even to this day, I remember in '95 when I saw so and so's butt crack.
We glossed over Avatar versus fucking
Joe
Walsh. Or
we didn't
Brian
get
Walsh.
there yet. We're almost. That's actually next. Yeah, Al Snow.
Yeah, Al Snow. Why the fuck did he wait till he got to the ring to put the mask on?
Thank
Wait
you.
till you get to the ring,
And
goddammit.
for a debut too, remember this is his debut.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Tony and I are huge Al Snow fans.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, Pete. We haven't ever talked about it, but you
I
know.
like Al. He's fucking great. I got to meet him in person too. He bought some of my artwork. Really cool.
Oh,
dude.
nice.
Just saved
Yeah,
the kid's life.
And I
Yeah,
kinda,
he did.
Well, I can't say it on there. One of the girls he trained, I had a connection with. I'll leave it there.
Nice.
I remember him and putting on all his jerseys and shit, like back when they did the vignettes and stuff, and he was just putting on all of the jerseys. And I can't remember how many he put on, but yeah, that's where the Death Headband came from. When I was like, I want to do something funny, and I was telling Tony, I'm like, yeah, I really want to do something like Al Snow used to do. He goes, I love Al Snow. I go, I do too. I'm like, see, these are the kind of guys I need to be around, wrestling, and
I remember when Big Boss Man cooked his Chihuahua.
Yes.
He cooked the fucking Chihuahua.
That
man.
was a fucked up storyline.
yes, it
Like,
was.
They were giving Big Boss Man fucked ups, like he was dragging Big Show's dad's coffin or whatever through the fucking, like, jeez.
Big Boss Man got
Undertaker's hanging him at WrestleMania.
I was gonna say,
like,
do you remember he got
what
hung
the
in the
fuck?
cage?
Yeah. My name's Wade Trailer. I remember that though when he was on WCW and he came out and the way he's talked, it was like, wait a minute, what?
Big
And then
Bubba
it was-
Rogers.
Yeah, had me dying. But yeah, that was where that proves that PETA is for people that eat tasty animals, because they never got in any trouble for the Chihuahua bit.
That we know of.
There's ongoing
Oh,
litigation.
sure,
I'm
PETA
sure.
fucking went off the fucking handle.
Oh shit!
It wasn't much long after this. The World Wildlife Foundation basically took their name. So
Yeah.
I think Vince didn't give a fuck. Sorry, I really do though, because you'd hear him if you listen a lot. At some points, he'll say something about entertainment, but he was always like, "Oh, we're entertainment. We're not wrestling." Where Ted was all like, "I'm getting into wrestling business," and he's like, "Oh, we're entertainment." So I think
I resent that line so much these days.
I do too, but I really think Vince didn't give a fuck, man. I really don't, because he was able to then launch it, and then it was when they kind of had that animal background ish in the red, and that's when they got into trouble. But to me, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, you knew what WWF was, right? Like watching wrestling.
I was following that court case, and when it happened, like I was thinking, what are they going to name their company? WWE sounds so stupid.
We
Like,
got
it was
red dust
so
down
hard
here.
for me to get used to it.
I'm still not used to it.
Yeah, I just want to say WWF. It sounds so much cooler. Federation sounds so much cooler. You can actually say the WWF and it makes sense. I'm always having to stop myself from saying the World Wrestling Entertainment. You just have to say WWE or it doesn't make sense, It's just the World Wrestling Federation. It just sounded so much better.
That's
Well,
why
I
I said
swear
I was
we
in the
didn't-
wrestling business.
Right. I love the polka dots though, man. You're doing the Dusty Rhodes.
Hey, look, brother, look, daddy, I have truly wined and dined with kings and queens. Now, if you will excuse me and my sweet Sapphire need to dance our way down to ringside, daddy, because it's time for this hard-working man to get down to the ring and lay it on the $1 million man, daddy. Sorry, what the common man goes through on a daily basis.
Are those polka dots or did Jane Fonda give you something?
I'm Ted
Did you
Turner,
catch
and Jane
something in
Fonda gave me.
Vietnam?
Look, she caught something when she was in Hanoi over there. She went over and she blew John McCain. He'd been in the cage for a while. I'm like, why would you blow that fucking goofy bastard? Oh my God. It's John fucking McCain. He doesn't even have a fucking soul. And his daughter looks like Amy Schumer got stung by a bee. But I'm Ted Turner, and I'm not one of the gossips. You ain't heard that from me.
Oh my God. Yes. Thumbs up, people. Come on. Hit that like button.
You're
Hit
definitely
that
gonna
like
like
button.
this.
Slap
you
that
don't-
muff button.
If you don't slash God damn it, I can't even talk. I'm talking like I'm going through the jungle. If you don't smash the like button, I will send Jane to a fucking camp over in Hanoi again, and I will put Casablanca back in the vault until 2050. I will do it. Don't make me lock Casablanca back up. I know you want to see Bogey, you fucking kids with your Moby Grape and your Slinkies.
Just slinkies.
And I swear, Tony, I could be wrong, but I think that we didn't hear about the get the F out part was kind of cool. When they're like, WWE now, WWF, get the F out. Okay, sure. But I swear it was like the Scorpion King or something, where you've seen the WWE bit, the entertainment, before they announced it, like on the, because I didn't really interweb back then, and there wasn't much of an interwebs back in this time frame. There was the beginning of, but I swear I saw it in a movie before we heard it on the news that they lost, and now they're going to be World Wrestling Entertainment.
I don't know.
I know, dude. I can't remember. I should have done a little research. I apologize for not. And next week, I'll do it and put in the chat. But I swear that's how I first found out. It wasn't that I heard they lost it. It was, and then they started to get the F out and all that. And it was just like, all right. Then the title belts all changed, and
they lost to the fucking Panda Bears.
Yeah, that pissed me off because I remember, like, that was when I was big into the internet wrestling scene and stuff. So I remember the World Wildlife Foundation soon. I'm like, there's no way they'll win. Like, WWF is a fucking global presence. They fucking actually make money.
Yeah. For over 50 years.
Yeah, and
sports entertainment.
Your source for sports entertainment.
I hate it. I hate it. I like WWF. And speaking of WWF, the main event for the evening is the WWF Women's Championship. Champion Bertha Faye is defending against Alundra Blaze, who's got that sweet sweat stain on her butt crack. So I don't know what she's thinking wearing like white out there like that, but
I would have treated that ass like a buffet.
Bertha Faye is just Bray Wyatt in a thong.
That fucking, I was like, what? Vince has got like, okay, so Alundra Blaze, Medusa Michelli. That woman was like world like renowned like for her work. Like she could fucking go. Like she could work technical, she could brawl, she worked all kinds of fucking styles. And it's like, hey, we're gonna have this. You're just gonna wrestle this big fat fucking slap of fucking shit wearing polka dots with Harvey fucking Whippleman, who's gonna go over on you because she's fatty. It's basically she's wrestling Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
It is
entertainment.
I like the fat funny bits.
Like Alundra's sports and Bertha's entertainment.
I like when she jiggles.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's one of my jokes. So it was that, Vince loves buff men and large women.
He's like, Vince is like, I don't like small cars or real big women, but somehow I always find myself in them.
Hell yeah. And I mean, as badass as Alundra Blaze was, because like they just never used her right. But even when you watch her wrestle this match, you literally just feel so bad for her because you know how good of a worker she is. You know how awesome she is.
You know where the irony is. What can you do
with somebody that size?
You know where the irony is. It's like Alundra Blaze drops the title into the trash can on Nitro.
Yep.
And that's the only highlight you ever fucking get of her. It's not like she goes on to fucking win this glorious match and hold up the WCW women's title.
WCW never even had a fucking women's division.
Exactly. So it's like, at least they had something going on in WWF.
Think about it though. They had Alundra Blaze and Molly Holly at the same time,
and didn't use it.
And they were all Macho Man stable. And I've had baby oil thrown in my face from Gorgeous George's tits. So there's that. I can
nice.
Oh no,
it's not gross. That's nice.
I was like 21. I didn't fucking care. I was bulletproof and like. I paid my money. I'm like, yep, I will pay to have those in my fucking face at the Saginaw Deja Vu in Saginaw, Michigan, where I met Macho Man. And it wasn't even then because he wasn't with Gorgeous George because she was the feature entertainer that night. Come in after Nitro, and Macho Man was because Nitro was at the Civic Center in Saginaw, and Macho Man was sitting there at the fucking table, and he's just sitting there, and me and my buddies are like, holy fucking shit, dude. And he was the only one in there. It's like, there's Macho Man. He's just sitting there. And they don't serve alcohol here because it's fully nude. They don't serve anything. They can like full contact, whatever. They don't serve alcohol.
Oh, so my bad. I had to look her up. I remember her now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And Macho Man's fucking sitting there, and we're like, we walk by him, and we're like, excuse us. He just turns around. He's like, oh yes, that was Slim Jim. And we're like, holy fucking shit, dude. Like, thank you so much. He's like, you guys want an autograph? We're like, yeah. So he signed fucking Deja Vu napkins for us.
Nice.
That's great.
He was so fun. And then we just left him alone. I'm like, I'm not, and it's like the dude's just sitting here drinking a Coke. Like he was probably like going to the bathroom like every 10 minutes or and be like,
Mhm.
like,
Uh-huh.
so I mean, but yeah, he like, yeah, the girls were like, they would go over to him. I think the manager told him just go over one at a because they like would go over one at a time and he would go back to the VIP room. It was fucking funny though. I'm like, and
That's
he
awesome.
did he had
He was lonely without Elizabeth.
well, dude, after him and Elizabeth divorced, his life was just like a spiral. They were
Yeah.
together for a fucking while, I mean, it was
I
like,
know.
but yeah, so Gorgeous George, yeah, that was
But
fun. Getting
he
nice
did-
with baby oil in the face.
he
with his
did
tits.
like end up with his high school sweetheart in the end.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so he did get a happy ending, which is awesome. He deserved it.
Yep.
Yeah. They said too, like his last days, he was going like all the time to like the local schools and stuff, and just doing shit for the kids.
Oh, he always did that, dude. I mean, that was the thing about Savage, right? Like
Yeah.
when you break stuff down, like right, baseball, wrestling, you take all
Yep.
that stuff away. He did what Cena's done for special needs kids
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff, like legitimately.
Well,
Like he didn't have any kids, but he accepted. And he's like, these are bought uniforms for him. Did all? I
Yep.
mean, he did lots, and the Giant as well, dude. He had a big part. Some of these guys, granted, it's wrestling, and wrestling's fake. They have the biggest heart.
they're good people.
Oh
and
yeah.
they're very good people. And,
Look
and
at-
people like Savage, bad shit happens. But then at the end of the day, look at where his life went. He,
Savage did well look at like a couple weeks ago on Nitro, Savage was doing the promos for the pay-per-view, was like for muscular dystrophy or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he was doing those spots. He was the only one that was doing those spots.
Yep.
It was like that just that just lines up and
And
it
Hogan
speaks to
was
him.
selling his fucking restaurant.
Why don't you tell you something, brother? Why don't you come to Pasta Mania?
Postomania.
It was the 90s, so it was health food back then.
Yeah.
Come get some health food at Pasta Mania. and it's-
The training, the prayers, the vitamins, the Pasta Mania, brother. Astafazul, Mean Gene.
But I mean, as much as you love Triple H, Tony, I mean, I will say he has had a very weird career. And as he's gotten older, he has paid it back a little bit doing the same stuff. I mean, they've had it on Raw where, like a little girl would scream and he'd be over there. Oh, don't worry, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. And they've showed that kind of stuff. And then the stuff with the Connor Foundation.
How many
Granted,
wrestlers did he hold back that would have done the
I
same
know, dude.
thing?
I know. I'm not
Every one of
excusing.
them.
I'm not excusing it, but
That was who? Wait, that was which one? I missed it.
Triple H.
Triple H.
Triple H, Tony's
Oh,
favorite
yeah, yeah.
wrestler.
He's a cunt.
Yeah,
He's
I don't like him at
cunt.
all.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
But
either.
you know what? One of the girls I was dating a few years back, her brother was a bouncer in Canada, and said that he ran into Big Show. That he came in. He goes, and this guy's a fucking monster. He's like, I think he's 6'4", 6'5".
Wait, Big
and he
Show?
goes, no. My ex's brother,
Oh,
who was a bouncer at this place, and he wide as shit. I mean, the guy was huge. And he goes, I felt like a little kid when I met him, but he was super nice. Anyone who came up to him, he shook hands, did autographs. He goes, when I shook his hand when he came in, he goes, Vin, his hand, it felt like a baseball mitt, but his fingers, he goes, were like big black cocks. I couldn't stop laughing when I heard that.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Met Rob Van Dam a few times, just when I was DJing at a strip club, and then another DJ at another club was supposedly best friends with him. He had introduced Rob Van Dam and his wife, and Rob Van Dam's wife, he was, a mutual friend of both of them. And yeah, so that dude's deceptively big. Like Rob Van Dam, because of his agility, what he can do in the ring, he doesn't look that big. But then when you go and meet him, and I mean tall, yeah, he's built, but he's fucking a lot taller than I realized when I met him. And he's he can party. Rob Van Dam can party.
I'm sure.
I've heard some stories.
Did his wife beat cancer too? Didn't she?
Awesome.
nice.
Did
I think
I
so.
don't I thought she did. Yeah.
I-
He's from my home state. He's
Battle
from
Creek.
Battle Creek, Michigan. Yep.
Nice.
I was I used to live over in the west side of Michigan too, and that's Battle Creek's over on the west side.
You guys heard the story when he stopped that person who robbed an old lady or something. He chased him down. Oh, you didn't hear
Yeah.
that shit,
No.
dude? He was I think he was hanging out by a comic book shop over in California, and when he got out, someone mugged some woman, grabbed her purse, and took off. He chased them. They went through a restaurant. He jumped through a fucking window. Dude, it was insane. He took this guy down. He was like the hero. Everyone was talking about it.
He tackles him. He's like, Rob Van Dam.
Right?
The whole effing show, baby.
Yeah.
That's funny. We were talking about the
Then
talent
football.
exchange between ECW and WCW, and that's where he got the name Mr. Monday Night, was because he was in ECW and they were doing that invasion.
Yeah. Yep.
Because WWF was running at the was it the Hammerstein where ECW ended up running?
Yeah, I think it was.
One of those ballrooms, one of the in New York. And yeah, because I remember that's when the ECW guys premiered there. Was there was like the invasion. You had Van Dam came in, and he got that nickname Mr. Monday Night during that run
Yep.
where they were cross promoting.
Yeah.
So I always thought it was from when he came on Raw and Lawler was like, "This is the best wrestler," you know.
No.
So it was before all that.
It's from the 90s when
Gotcha.
he was full blown ECW at that point.
Right.
Yeah, he was calling himself Mr. Monday Night in ECW
Yep.
on their
Oh, yeah.
pay-per-views and
Yep.
late
I
night
used to
shows.
love that.
I've got a
shit.
lot of ECW to catch up on because, like, unlike you, I didn't actually really get to ever see it on TV. It's through the network and stuff that I've got to see some of the stuff.
Yeah.
See,
or the old school tapes.
I got to watch the ECW, like the ECW TV. Like I said, it was on a wild feed network. I would pick up out of Florida on my parents' satellite in the early 90s. One of these fucking off. I caught it at like 2 a.m. And so I was getting the fucking like that. It was fucking awesome. I was like what the fuck is this?
I used to watch some of those too. Yeah, and it was at 2 a.m. It was fucking nuts.
It was amazing, dude. It's like, holy shit, because I was like probably 14, 15. And I'm home on Saturday nights at that point, and it's
we're the same age. Yeah, I remember all that shit. My brother, he goes,
yeah.
dude, did you hear about this other wrestling? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I recorded one of them. I was up late, and then like the following week, we were waiting for it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Fucking loved ECW.
My senior trip in high school, we chartered a bus and we went to Chicago. So the ride was like 5-6 hours, and they had a VCR on it, and we were like the whole way there. We watched like the best of Chris Farley from like Saturday Night Live,
Nice.
and I put on ECW WrestlePalooza '98, like me and a bunch of my buddies, like, we're gonna fucking watch this. You bring your tape? I'm like, yeah, like put it on. I went up there to put it on. I'm like, hey, I'm putting wrestling on, and everybody was like, a couple people were like, and I remember this one kid, Alan, and like he moved out to California and became a professional dancer, and now he's divorced and he lives back in our hometown again, and I remember because he's like, wrestling's fake. I'm like, I'm gonna come back there and fucking slap you, and he just didn't say anything. He just shut up after that. I did too. I remember that. I was like, I'm gonna come back there and fucking slap you. I just put it on. And we sat there and watched a 3.
Like it.
Oh, he would have. He would have been like, please, daddy, more. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he was fucking pillow biter. I'm just saying. Just saying he's ended up at the wrong end of a blowjob at time or 6.
Him and Pat have common. Okay.
But no, seriously though. So we sat there and we watched that fucking 3-hour pay-per-view, and that was, oh man, like I think I still have like what was the first pay-per-view they did? Guilty as Charged. Was it Barely Legal? Barely Legal was the first pay-per-view ECW did. I'm pretty sure I still have that on VHS. And my favorite. I'm sorry, Tony, to go off on ECW, but was Heatwave '98, Bubba Ray and Devon's promo, starting with Joel Gertner, who is just was I fucking I idolize that man's managerial work. And Bubba Ray's promo was the most scathing, savage, vulgar promo I had ever heard, and it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite, probably my favorite promo to this day. It is him telling that fucking. He goes, he's sitting there. He goes, "We got some bundle," and I'll say bundle of sticks in a Hawaiian shirt, and we got a mother in the front row teaching her daughter how to take 9 inches of black dick from my brother Devon, and fucking Devon starts going nuts. I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, that's pretty damn savage.
And then the guy in the front row, he's like, you see him, they're going, "Fuck you" to Bubba. I was like, "Fuck me." He goes, "You know what?" He's like, "Since you can't come to us, we'll come to you." And Bubba went down there, basically called him a bundle of sticks, was calling him a fucking bitch, grabbed that beer and fucking threw it in his face. I was like, oh my, like, dude, at this point, they're begging the fans to come over the guardrail so they can beat the fuck out of him. I'm just like, and that happened on Raw. Was it Raw or no, Nitro? One of the Nitros. I think it was the second one, Tony. It was during the Macho Man and Kurosawa match. That fucking fan ran in the ring, and it was Randy Anderson, the referee, that fucking Randy Anderson was beating on him a little bit. Did you catch that? Before the camera cut away, did you see what he was doing? Good talk, Tony.
Yeah.
He was he wants me to shut the fuck up. He's like, I'm muted. He's like, this motherfucker.
No.
But I gotta bring it home soon,
Okay,
guys.
all right. But you know what I'm talking about, though? That fan that ran in during the fucking Macho Man match?
I didn't see that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
must have missed that or been typing or something.
It was quick, dude. It was quick.
Yeah, they cut away really quick, but dude, when that happens, it's the referee's job. And Randy Anderson was not a big guy. And he had that motherfucker against the ropes. You see Randy I thought he was throwing a few little jabs in there. I was like, look, before the security got down there and drug him out. The dude looked like, it's funny, he looked like Jungle Boy. That's what he looked like, that fucking puto Jungle Boy.
Probably was him.
Hell yeah. Well, with Raw, since you want to wrap it up, I have to say that the worst part was the Shawn Michaels interview with not half-face smiley JR. What, too soon?
Yeah.
Happy face. That's what Jamie Dundee's call him. Happy. That goddamn happy face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a shot for you, man. I mean, I literally wrote it just so that you could do your Dundee, and I did put down that this was a lame ass Raw because it was.
It was.
It was.
It wasn't a bad start. The Battle Royal was fun, but that they should have reversed it because that main event was awful.
It was. I hate to say it like that. You got excited from the first one, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. When I saw Al Snow, because like Avatar, I'm like, wait a minute, I know that name, and I go back and I look, and there's young Al, and I'm like, oh man, and he fought a nobody, so it's like, okay, I'm like, all right, who's gonna win this, and of course we know where he went to. Yeah, the main event, that it was just like, all right. I mean, other than, that ass being in white and a little bit of sweat, it's just like, well, at least it wasn't red.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like, at least she was pretty, she's like Alundra Blaze is cute, but Bertha Faye sure as shit ain't, and she was wearing the more revealing clothing, and it was just, Alundra Blaze is great, but I mean, there's only so much you can do with that. Yep. And to hear, there's going to be a WWF title match on Raw, and the title's going to change. That sounds exciting, but then you add the context to it, and it was just a weak way to go off the air, especially compared to what they were doing on Nitro again. And I'm pretty sure they were live the day after the pay-per-view because, they can't tape a pre-taped show with results to a pay-per-view before that airs, obviously. So right. They could have had an edge on Nitro tonight, and then they main evented with that, and it was Vince, and they said, oh, well, it's a title change, but people just didn't care about it. We're still years away from it even evolving into the Divas Championship. People didn't care.
And you know what? It's funny. They still don't.
Yeah.
It's like we say, man, they kind of ruin shit. They
Yep.
do, and it's that's a whole other fucking stream.
Well, the Survivor Series bit that they threw in there was kind of cool, and I mean, obviously, you're going to pimp the next pay per view. You
I
know,
thought
you had
they all
pay-per-view
seemed
that-
randomly thrown together. All
Yeah.
those matches, just
Yeah, the Survivor Series matches when they're plugging those, I'm like, wait, what? Like none of
Yeah.
these pairings make any fucking sense.
yeah. Like, isn't Owen Hart and Razor on a fucking team when they're going to wrestle each other?
Yep.
Remember though, that's the mixed card, so that was
Yeah.
the whole. You know, okay, it's kind of like the NFL shit, right? Like, oh well, y'all fucking suck. So okay, if this team wins, then you get to, you know. And so yeah, that's the thing that it was, because it was Sean and Sid Bulldog. Oh fuck, I can't remember shit. Ahmed Johnson. Yeah.
It wasn't really,
And then Douglas, Razor, Owen, and Yoko together.
Yeah.
So those were your four. And I mean, I used to love Survivor Series. Like that was the one pay-per-view when they came out where you were like, oh man, because you get like the tag teams all together.
Yep.
If your partner got eliminated, you were eliminated and all that shit. Like back in the day.
Favorite Survivor Series was the Deadly Game tournament. And it's not I love the Royal Rumble, but when they did the tournament for the WWF Championship, when Rock first became champion at Survivor Series, I think that's the best one. I'm just not into those elimination. Yeah.
Dude.
Like, I'm not too into tag team wrestling, but when I am, I like tag teams like the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys going at it and that kind of stuff. But those big, like, anything 6-man tag or up, I'm just not into.
Dude, those I've having it sucked. The last the last 3 or 4 TV tapings I did, Tony, 3 of them were like triple threat tag or 8-man tag matches. In a 14x14 ring, you've got. I'm like, our team was big. We had then there was one other like big Hoss team that was bigger than us, and then you had the medium sized guys. Then you had the fucking little munchkin piss ants, and that it sucks. It's a clusterfuck because everybody wants to get their shit in. And you've got 8 fucking people, and it's like, oh my god. That's why, like, we generally wouldn't even come in until like the end, because we knew we were going over for the belts. So it's like we would come in and do a fucking couple spots, and then just be outside the ring and act bored until like it came time for the finish, and then we get involved. But yeah, it was I hated those matches. It's like I worked a couple singles matches, but I was a tag team wrestler. And I always, like, since I was a kid, I've always liked the tag teams. I just was always
I like a tag team match, but just not the fucking. And I think it's WWF's fault because on SmackDown from basically 2002 till eternity, it was, well, we're gonna have a 6-man tag. We're gonna have and I get that's better for the wrestler, like
it's overbooked. It's overbooked.
It's just if we're gonna have a tag team match, I want tag teams.
Yep. I want 4 guys. That's it. Maybe you got a manager, maybe you don't, but we don't need 37 motherfuckers and run-ins.
And that's all Survivor Series is. It's like, and it's never worth it. It's never like, oh, we could see some interesting stuff. It's never worth
because they've only got a certain amount of time to get their shit in.
Yeah. Yep. So like when they did the tournament for the WWF Championship, that was fun. That was an interesting Survivor Series, but I'm more of a Royal Rumble person than Survivor Series.
Battle Royals,
it's usually on the weekend of my birthday, so
Battle Royals are a bitch.
Yeah.
I was in the first one I did. I came in at number 4, and there was 26 people in it, and I was in the final 6. And dude, so we got like me and my tag partner were both in it. He came in right before I did, and we did a spot like where we had gotten beat up a little bit by a couple of the guys that we were actually working a feud with at that point before we went over in that, because we had a fucking kind of like a hardcore match we went over, and none of us were like we're not going like hard in the paint. But so in the Rumble, I got thrown in the corner and I dropped down and I'm like laid over the turnbuckles, right? the very bottom. So my tag partner James comes over and gets a drop toe hold, and his head hits me right in the nuts. So
Ooh.
we sell that. Like, he didn't actually hit me. We sold the fuck out of it. But so he's laying there, and the dude just walks away and goes and starts fighting with somebody else. So we're laying there. Now, mind you, I'm 6'3", 245. He's 6'2", about 260. He's laying down in between my legs, and we're just sitting there, and he I hear him say to me, he goes, let's just powder and sit here. I'm like, all right. So he lifts his head up, and I go like this. I just shoved his fucking head back down. And the fucking crowd looks and like, what the fuck? So I said, do it again. He picks his head up, and I shoved his fucking head. We did it like 3 or 4 times until the crowd started fucking like booing us. So then he just sat there and kind of fucking laid back and sat in my lap. And then fucking Babyface comes over and starts kicking us again. It was so fucking funny. But I was so happy when I got eliminated from that shit. I'm like, just get me out of here. I'm like, I'm blown up. Just get me out. I took the softest fucking over the top rope elimination too. I'm like,
Nice.
I'm not going hard. I just kind of softly rolled over and put because like it was such a small ring. I just like leaned down and like toe tapped, and then I like sold, because I was like, I'm not taking some crazy over the top bump. Fuck that. I knew what spots to take and what spots not to take.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it here. It was I thought those Nitro episodes were great.
Nitro was wonderful.
Raw, it's
Raw
gonna
had
be
moments.
a year and a half before Raw starts getting, really good again. Before they really, like we're about a year away from Steve Austin and Mick Foley and the, Bret Hart title reigns and just, Razor Diesel leaving, because I don't know. I liked Kevin Nash more in WCW than I ever did in WWF. I wasn't really into him as Diesel, but
no.
Yeah. Guys, so I'm gonna make it kind of a quick exit tonight because I've got to go eat dinner. It's waiting for me. Thank you all, Vinny, Etep, Adam. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Definitely. Everyone in the chat, thank you. Keely Chow, Angelous Draven. I know Mad Murdigan was here earlier. Johnny Cage, Glenzer, Another Monster. Anyone else I'm missing? Thank you all. Thank you for being here. We'll be back next week with, what is it, weeks 9 and 10? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, and we'll talk about Halloween Havoc a little bit then as well, what happened there. And yeah, look out for that monster truck, man versus machine. And then Machine becomes man, Hulk Hogan and the Giant in his debut match. And yeah, remember, they are not pop culture. They are agenda. We are pop culture, and we'll see you later.